children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of The Keel Show. I'm your host, as always, Alex. Alongside me, the inside of the insiders, Tyler Keel.
See, what's funny, Alex, is that everyone is looking at it right now. I'm like, wait a second. It's flip-flopped. Yes, it's flip-flopped.
Called a mirrored image.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure everyone noticed that by the fact that anniversary's backwards and Hal Gretzky, and also the fact that our awesome, cool Keel Show merchandise is also backwards. It's because we're on Google Meets. And if any of you remember, I don't have my ring on. Oh, my gosh. I just realized I don't have my ring on. Kelly!
No.
My ring is on the nightstand. Oh, boy.
Tyler John Keel, how
She
dare you.
dropped
Quote of the day.
She dropped the middle name there. Wow. Hot. She's coming in hot, man.
She's coming. Well, she's coming in hot with the ring.
That door's gonna bust open and hit you hard. It's gonna fly out the hinges.
While you're having yourself some marriage problems, I'll get this show on the roll. We are live here on 12 Ounce Sports, on Twitter, on YouTube. If you are not watching us on Twitter or YouTube, Facebook, or Zingo TV, channel 761, sign up for free today using the promo code
I was showering.
12 ounce. That is 12OZ for Canadian listeners.
Z for proper English. Hi, dear. Can I have my ring? Please. I mean, if you can make your way without cutting in front of the camera. Here, just lean back. Just lean back.
Okay.
No, what are you doing? What is happening? Oh, what is happening? Oh, dear God, no. Oh boy. Oh,
Okay,
she's calling. Oh, okay. Whew. All right. Hello, dear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just like on our... It's Kellyanne.
Hashtag Kellyanne.
It's hashtag Kellyanne.
Throw it in the chat.
Throw it in the cat. Hashtag
Throw it in the
Kellyanne.
chat. Hashtag Kellyanne. I'll throw it in there. Hashtag.
No. Wait, no. There you go. There's the ring. There's your ring.
Hashtag Kellyanne. Okay.
All right. Where were we?
Oh, yeah.
Zingo
TV, channel 761. Sign up for free today using the promo code 12 ounce. That is 12OZ. Getting involved in the show.
Zero. No, it is O.
It's
Dang.
OZ.
I don't.
Ounce. Dummy.
This is
why during the beginning of the show
I am so flabbergasted because my monitor's on this side. The mixer's in front of me.
Stop.
I'm on the wrong side of the screen.
Stop being dumb. Shush. Let me get the intro in, and then we'll get to you. Okay?
Me.
12 Ounce Sports. If you are not watching us live, you are either catching us on one of your favorite podcatchers, otherwise you are getting us on the replay show. What?
Wixie's splooting? Oh, Wixie's splooting.
Okay, take a picture and save it. Cool.
Awesome. Like our dog, Corgis they
sploot.
sploot where the legs. Okay, anyways. You were going. See, now she interrupted you. You're not yelling at her, I see.
I might need that second coffee back. Where was I going with? Oh, yeah. If you are not watching us live, you are on your favorite podcatcher, and by all means, share it with your friends. Make sure to get us out there using hashtag TKS at The Keel Show, or you are watching us on the Keel YouTube page, which, once again, share it with your friends at The Keel Show. Today's program is brought to you by On 12 Ounce Sports Second String Leather Company.
It's up here today.
Tyler, shut up.
I'm pointing at it.
Second String Leather Company, which is brought to you by Second String Leather Company. What's your favorite piece of goaltending equipment? Blocker, glove, leg pad. Second String has you covered. Take your favorite piece of equipment, turn it into something you can use every day with their custom program. Give them your gear, pick up from any of their products, get your item crafted from the crease. Second String Leather Company, crafted from the crease. This episode is also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Bet on all sports, win and get paid using promo code 12 Ounce Sports and join it for free today. We also, Tyler, have merchandise, as you are showing on your chest, and you are also going to be throwing on the screen.
Merchandise.
Right
Look at that stuff. Look at all that good stuff.
Make sure to go to teespring.com/stores/the-keel-show. That is The Keel Show with dashes instead of spaces. Teespring.com/stores/The Keel Show. Today's program, we are going to be talking about players that are on the move, the awards talk with possible Vezina candidates coming and going. We'll talk about that. Stanley Cup playoffs, and, let's just talk about the finals, because that's all there's left to talk about this season. We're going to be talking with none other than Thomas Biondo and Peyton Turnage, reviewing Game 1 and looking at the preview as the rest of the series will turn out with Game 2 tonight.
We were supposed to have Harrison Watt on, but unfortunately he was not able to make it tonight due to personal reasons, and I started crying.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, and you know what? He's just not going to be on the 8-timers club.
Well, we're gonna have to because of the thing.
Well, eventually, just not.
Just not tonight, unfortunately. Thomas will steal the spotlight, and Peyton.
Breaking news. Well, it's not really breaking, but it is news. Jared McCann has signed a 2-year, $2.94 million AAV extension with Pittsburgh. Mikko Koivu will not be re-signed by Minnesota, which is kind of bad because, well, he's the captain there. Pietrangelo, who is, the captain of the St. Louis Blues.
You're just blowing through this stuff.
Well, I'm just going through all this stuff, and then we'll talk about it later.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, whoa.
Don't worry about it.
When am I going to get to talk?
I already got it planned out. Don't worry about it.
You just leave me out of this.
The contract talks between Pietrangelo and the Blues have been cut off. He has a couple places that he could possibly go. We'll talk about those. Fleury is potentially going to be traded or bought out. Well, I go for bought out, but that's the rumors on the block, with the possibility of him going back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, let's say, I didn't write that in there.
No, I put it in there.
Look at you go, Alex.
Gary Bettman had a statement where we could be talking about by the end of December or possibly January with a 82-game season. Who are we supposed to believe? And
Nobody.
The Ottawa Senators brought back their 2D logo for next year with their jerseys being released in full image and in full color for the first round of the draft.
Now, where are we starting here? We should also mention 6:30. We'll keep you live here on 12-Ounce Sports because I'll have it on my phone. The rest of the awards will be handed out. And I think we'll also discuss those with Peyton and Thomas if we have time.
If we have time.
So we'll have the breaking news. We'll have the live analysis of the awards. I guess you can consider it analysis because I'm probably going to yell and scream if they say Vaza left for Vezina.
It would probably be live reaction.
Live reaction with analysis. Here on The Kill Show on 12-Ounce Sports.
Real reactions.
Real reactions.
Real reactions.
Real reactions.
That's enough. So let's talk about Pittsburgh for a hot second. Jared McCann, thoughts?
Not a bad deal because I just wrote an article that came out today about the Minnesota Wild and their possible free agent moves this offseason. And you have to realize, you have to remember, folks, the flat cap is going to ruin teams. It's going to make it very interesting for us here on the show. But at the same time, it's just you have to understand that contracts aren't going to be the same. When we get to Pietrangelo in a second, I'll get more into it. But McCann's not a bad deal.
He's not a bad deal. $2.94 million, where in this past 2 seasons he was making $1.25 with Florida the past 2 years before having a roughly AAV of 1.12 average. With Vancouver, where he played 2014 all the way to 18, right there.
He said 2018 there, guys, but unfortunately his mouth stopped and it just came out weird.
Yeah, that one. It happens sometimes.
It's not a bad deal. He's, this is a guy he's played well in Pittsburgh, but then again, he's played well on a better team. Look at the team he's playing with in Vancouver. Numbers weren't the best because he wasn't playing on a great team. Now he's playing better. He's producing more. Didn't he have a career year this year?
66. Well, you're talking about this year, 2019-20?
Yeah.
This year, he played 66
scroll
games.
Down a little bit there.
What?
Because if you scroll down, it'll give us his actual
everything.
numbers.
66 games. He scored 14 goals, got 21 assists for a grand total of 35 points.
Which is the most he's ever had.
Plus minus of 6. 17 penalty minutes.
Okay, yeah, so it's best point production. So, of course, he's going to get a raise. A lot of guys, and with contract
3 goals
years.
in the playoffs, though. 3 goals in the playoffs.
That's 3 games played, 1 assist.
Excuse me, pardon me. 3 games played in the playoffs. Not very good.
3 games played against the Montreal Canadiens.
Garbage.
Not a bad deal. Pittsburgh, they're going to have to be frugal like a lot of teams are. I mean, Vegas is going to be an absolute just a dumpster fire.
Well, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins, and let's talk about if they could pick up Marc-Andre Fleury. This is why they shouldn't.
So we're going right to Fleury. Okay.
Well, we're on the topic of Pittsburgh. We might as well.
Well, you said bought out and trade. Listen.
So the rumor as of right now, I got you.
From who?
This is being reported on TSN. I haven't pulled up the article yet because I'm dumb.
I just want to know who wrote it, just so I can make sure that you're just not saying. It's like me saying, you know what's going to happen to Austin Mitch Marner? Marner is going to get traded to Calgary for Johnny Gaudreau, 1-for-1.
Tyler,
because they're the same player. What?
Tyler, it's hockey rumor talk, so that means it's at least 60% accurate.
60%. Time it's right all the time.
62.666666 repeating percent right.
Wait, that's a different one.
Well, as of right now, the Pittsburgh Penguins have 2 goalies on RFA that they have to either re-sign or do something with, which is Matt Murray.
Hold
and
on, they
Tristan Jarry.
both of them are RFAs with arbitration rights. Oh boy.
Yep.
Because it means you have. Here's the thing. It means you have.
Hold on. Let me keep going. With Casey DeSmith being $1.25 million to the cap for 2 more years before being a UFA in 22-23. Now, this is why this is bad for them if they want to pick up another
Because
goalie.
here's some RFAs. It's not like you can just let these guys walk. They have to be signed, Alex. They have to be signed or traded in order for a team to have rights to sign them. An RFA is literally, hey, it means you can offer this guy money. You can offer him a contract, but we can match it, no problem. I don't know if Tristan Jarry is going to get a bigger contract. I mean, he's going to get a raise because he had an all-star season, but I don't think a team is going to waste draft picks because, Alex, with RFAs, we learned this a lot last year with Aho, Mitch Marner. Was anyone else offer-sheeted last year? Well, I know Mitch Marner wasn't offer-sheeted, but I know there was talks of that.
Last year?
I think Aho was the only guy. Aho was the only guy.
Well, because everyone said it was going to be the year of offer sheets, and it was going to make everybody's life either really difficult or really easy.
And then Don Waddell's like, this is easy, man.
Sebastian Aho is the only player that did get offer sheeted, or at least the only major one that I could think of.
But of course,
by the way, thank you, Montreal. You dumb.
Hashtag Marner Watch was literally the theme of our show for 2 months. But
I was tired of it.
I know you were, but
Absolutely
unfortunately there was nothing else to talk about, and we weren't good at getting guests at that point.
That is true.
Anyways,
but no, yes, you have a point.
But with Murray and Jarry both being RFAs, Pittsburgh's gonna have to sign one of them to a good deal, and they're gonna have to try to trade one. You can't sign both right now.
No. Not with having another goalie already contracted.
Well, you have Casey DeSmith, and Casey DeSmith can be a good backup in this league. He has not been a superstar, but he's been able to play decent minutes with the Penguins when he's been the Pittsburgh Penguins when he's been called up from the American Hockey League in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. But
by the way, on Thursday did you report Edmondson's contract?
Whose? Edmondson's. Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay,
Edmondson's
3.5. That's right.
Not a bad deal at all. Made our talk. Like, oh my gosh, what if they don't sign him? Well, they did. So
Makes that a lot easier.
That dramatic little scene was out the wayside. But I like the fact that you have two goaltenders to pick from. Yes, Murray was the guy that won 2 cups. And I say 16, I'll give him that. That was his cup. He won 15 of the 16 games.
Not too old either of them. 25 and 26 respectively.
Jarry's 26 or Murray's 26?
Jarry is 25. Murray is 26.
And here's the thing about Jarry. This was his best year ever. I don't know if he can do it again. I think that's the thing Pittsburgh is going to have to try to really look at and be like, all right, is Jarry good enough to do this again? And if we sign him, can he do it throughout his term of his contract? Because despite having it seeming like a lot of goaltenders that are going to be available this free agency, there's going to be a lot of goaltenders asking for a lot of money. I mean, Robin Leonard seems pretty close to a deal with Vegas. Yeah, Jacob Markstrom out in Vancouver. It's pretty darn certain that Jim Benning's going to give up the house for him, even though Thatcher Demko showed that he can be an NHL goaltender, a number 1 NHL goaltender, excuse me. I know there's the guy named Jimmy Howard that's going to be on the market, but
okay.
Hold on. Let me run to the edge of this cliff, and Alex, you have to grab me to pull me back. We're not there. We're not at the edge yet. I see the edge, but we're not there yet.
I'm trying to make it an option or argument for Tristan Jarry.
I'm giving him the argument.
That then keep going.
He's capable, but this is his best year. And you remember, Alex, I hate to bring this back to the Leafs, folks, but Curtis McElhinney, how so hesitant everyone was to keep bringing him back because can he do it again? Can he do it again?
Here's the
can
thing.
He do it again?
Here's the thing about
But he did.
Here's the thing about Jarry, though. This isn't necessarily his best year, I would say, because, okay, yes, if you look at the last time that he was given an opportunity like this year alone, he played 33 games. He had a goals against average 2.43, save percentage of 921. The last time that he had any sort of opportunity close to this was the 2017-18 season, where he played 26 games, had a goals against average of 2.77, and a save percentage of 908. So just a little bit higher on goals against average and save percentage, but still not necessarily a bad thing if you're having someone as a fringe starter, which if you try to sign both of them, it's going to be if you want to keep both, you're going to have to trade your third goalie, and you're going to a goalie of that magnitude, frickin' 1.25
both
or whatever for
goaltenders
2
are
more years.
both goaltenders are going to ask for money. And if
That's
if you can,
that's what I'm saying. There's a qualifier in there. Don't you worry. If you want to keep these 2 goalies, both of them are A, going to have to take a pay cut, and B, you're going to have to get rid of your third. I don't see that happening. But you look at Jari. Is it Jari or Yari?
I go with both. I say both.
I'm going to say Yari. Tristan Yari.
Turn the sound up a little bit here.
He, how do I put this?
He was an all-star. I mean,
I just don't think this is good for the long run. So if you're going to keep him, you're going to have a lot of problems. I think you're going to run into a situation a couple years down the line or even next year when he's just by himself and he's not having Murray there to help him out. It's just going to be a problem.
So what you're saying is do the Philip Grubauer treatment, trade Jari if you can.
But I also think if they stick with Matt Murray as their main guy, quote unquote, and have him and keep running with him, one, he's going to ask for too much money and they're going to have to give it to him because he's a fan favorite. But 2 is that I also see him having a problem, and it's going to be because they're going to give him far too big of a contract in length.
Here, Alex, turn off the YouTube video there. It's kind of screwing up the feed. I'll keep checking it on the chat here on my phone. Sorry, we're trying to run that over there, this over here, and we have a Google Meet thing going on the laptop here. So yeah, just close out that tab.
All right, fine.
And then we'll just keep going with it. Hopefully it's not cut out entirely. I really hope not.
Because
Because the audio is going to be completely messed up then for sure.
Right. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes. I think if you do end up signing Murray and that's your option, which I think at this point is probably the most viable option and the most appetizing option, especially to ownership, you want to just make sure to A, not sign it for too long of a deal, and B, don't give him a bunch because you don't want him to hurt the cap and you don't want him to, have something happen and you're stuck with him for however long even if you didn't have a no trade clause, an untradeable contract. Because that's another thing too. Because if you sign a contract that's just too big, nobody else is going to want to pick it up. Otherwise, if they do pick it up, you're going to be ending up with 50% of the bill, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's one thing. Otherwise, Tyler, I can put it on mine I can throw it on data.
Yeah, if you want to throw your phone on data, that'd be nice if you could do that. Because that's why I wonder if that's what's happening here. Because I'm just sitting there, I'm like, it's because I can tell it's on the red here, and it looks good on here.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it looks good on there.
Right, but going back to
no one's cried yet, so that's
going
good.
back to the origin story of us talking about the goaltending situation. Fleury possibly being bought out / being traded, possibly going to Pittsburgh. It's the rumor that's going around. A couple places are, I don't have the articles up, but a couple places are talking about it. Nothing's necessarily being reported because it is a hockey rumor, and that's what happens. In the words of Adele, rumor has it that he might be not playing for the Vegas Golden Knights anymore. And honestly, I don't think that has anything to do with the agent thing, but it might have something to do with the agent thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about Minnesota real quick.
Minnesota.
And we will be talking about none other than the former captain, Mikko Koivu. So God bless Cap Friendly. They already have the old logo put up for the Ottawa Senators. Attaboy.
Of course they are. They're on it.
They're on it like white on rice. So the Minnesota Wild decided to not go forward with Mikko Koivu. So he's a 37-year-old UFA. Last year, he made a grand total of $5.5 million, which was part of a 2-year contract extension that he signed with a no-move clause. So AAV 5.5, getting $11 million total. He was 5.5 to the cap. Honestly, he's an older guy. He doesn't necessarily have the biggest numbers in the world. Last year alone, he played 55 games, only 4 goals, 17 assists. He didn't really do well in the playoffs. He didn't get any points this playoffs. And I'm sorry, he's just not a viable option anymore.
I want everyone to know.
He's an older guy, and if you wanted to keep him on the team, Fourth liner, far reduced salary from last year, and I don't see him moving somewhere big. My biggest fear though is that a team like frickin' Detroit will pick him up.
Hold on.
Because they have a tendency to picking up old guys. But then again, Ken Holland's not here anymore. So we got big old Stevie.
Okay, it looks good. I'm sorry. I'm looking back and forth to making sure because I can see the video is kind of lagging there for a second. I go on here, it's fine. I'm looking at you, it's fine. I'm like, everything's like,
anything in the chat?
nothing in the chat.
Okay.
Some buffoon
other than hashtag Kellyham baby.
Hashtag Kelly. Anyway, so Mikko Koivu. Here's the best part about having a dog. Let me explain here, Alex. I was going to write the article for the Minnesota Wild. I started this thing about a week and a half ago. About
the Mikko Koivu article?
The Minnesota Wild article about the top 5 UFAs they should go after. And I was talking about their cap space. They have Alex Galchenyuk, he was a UFA, Carson Soucy, who may be on, if anything, he's a cheap deal. But Mikko Koivu was a big one, given the fact that he is the captain, but he's probably going to take a pay cut. Thankfully, my dog was able to distract me for long enough because I wasn't able to finish the article. So I'm about to finish it up maybe the other day, but then I couldn't. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait. Maybe I'll do it Sunday. Kelly will be home. I can finish it up then. Thank goodness Minnesota made the announcement after or before when they did, because I would have posted the article and we would have been in trouble. Thankfully, my dog distracted me enough.
You would have looked dumb.
It would have looked, well, we could have gone in there and fixed it, but I would have had to have done some minor changes because, unfortunately, yes, I don't see him. I love Mikko Koivu. I love the way he has been the guy there in Minnesota for a decade. I don't want to say it's an Alfredsson deal where, but he can go sign somewhere else to try to win a cup. I don't want to say what's the point, but I just don't see a spot for him anywhere, I want to say, oh, man, he can go somewhere and make a difference, and maybe he can, but at his age, he's what, 37?
37 years old.
37? Yes. He's done so much for the Minnesota Wild for so long. He's a guy that you want to see win. He's a guy that you want to see lifting Lord Stanley. Not quite the Ray Bourque stature, not quite even the possibility and the thought of having Joe Thornton win the cup. But he's been so good for so long. And let's be honest, despite playing in the state of hockey, Minnesota in the NHL, in the annals of the NHL, is so low on the totem pole in terms of popularity, in terms of, not say coverage, but just in general respect. The Winnipeg Jets get more. Then again, they're in the Central Division, which has Chicago, which has St. Louis, which for the longest time Dallas is overlooked, but now they're in the finals. We'll get to that later on in the show. But just where they're at, they're always overlooked because, we always talk about look at Jared Spurgeon's contract. People think, wow, that's a lot of money for a defenseman. It's because he's good enough to make that sort of money. I think he's north of $7 million. Am I right there, Alex? Scroll down. You're on the Wild or you're on the Flyers?
I'm on the Flyers right now because I think that's a possible place.
I don't want to think about that. I'm not gonna make any.
Let me rephrase that. The Philadelphia Flyers are a team that has gone out and time again proven that they are willing to sign old, used up players. Signing them for too much.
That's
just saying.
That's it.
Chris Pronger, Wayne Simmons. I'm sorry.
Chris Pronger was still good at that point, though.
No, he wasn't.
The 2010 Chris Pronger?
Nope.
No, granted, that was the last time that you could ever be that kind of playing hockey. But Wayne Simmons, the night train, he was fine until it just realized that he wasn't going to fit in. The team was on a downslide. They trade him, and all of a sudden they get better.
Wayne Simmons was not a viable option. I'm sorry. Still is not a viable option.
Okay there, bud.
Okay.
Listen, he's not an analytics god, and I get that, but dude, come on. Get him in front of the net in the power play and just have him just crash around.
Yeah, but when he asked for that kind of money, though, no.
He was making $3.4 million. He made $5 with New Jersey because they had the space. And
I'll give him 1.2 and a shiny penny. No.
That could happen.
I'd rather frickin' sign Brian Boyle than have Wayne Simmons. You want to know why?
You mean Nash? Oh, yeah, that.
Brian Boyle.
Remember that offseason by David Poyle? There you go.
Good job.
Yeah, great job.
That's another team.
Brian Boyle.
Hey, why not just send frickin' Koivu to Nashville? That'd be good. They've got $8 million of projected cap space, but they have 5 UFAs this year.
Who do they have?
Blackwell, Smith, Granlund.
Granlund, by the way, one of the guys I said should go back to Minnesota because that'd be hilarious.
Yannick Weber and Jose.
Corbinian Holzer, he's still playing. Good for him. But listen, Mikko Koivu, I don't want to see him in any other sweater than a Wild sweater. Just for my sake. If he does find it, he has to sign with a team that has a chance to win the Cup. I don't want to see him sign with any. If he signs with a team like Florida or any team in Alberta, I'd be mad because none of those teams have a shot to win the Cup.
Dude, he's old, man.
He is old. That's why I don't want to see him go anywhere that can't win. That's why when Patrick Marleau signed with Pittsburgh, and I'm like, okay, it's not going to work, but okay.
It's kind of a viable option.
Dude, no. Pittsburgh has been on the decline since they won the darn thing. Now, granted, yes, would they have had a shot had Evgeny Kuznetsov not scored in 2018? Yes. But then again, Matt Murray's the goaltender, Alex. Matt Murray was great for 2 years because he had an excellent, amazing team in front of him. I'm just saying, Marc-Andre Fleury is more impressive in those 2017 playoffs than Matt Murray. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it.
You know who's not so old?
Who?
Pietrangelo.
30
years old.
Is apparently, well, it's funny because last week they reported that they were still talking, the St. Louis Blues and out to Pietrangelo's camp. And then over the weekend, it's like, well, psych. Oh, we should have had Laura on the show. Dang it. We'll get her on next week. Or we'll get her on in the offseason. We'll just ask her one question. Laura, tell us about Pietrangelo. And she'll go on a nice long spiel and say, thanks, Laura. We'll talk to you soon. That's all we're going to have to ask her. Because, he has been a big part of that Blues team for, are we at, I don't know if we're at the decade point with him.
Well, yes, actually.
Pardon me. How long is he? Well,
he's been, so here's
2010.
So here's the thing. In 2008,
I don't count that.
2008, 2009 was technically his first year with the St. Louis Blues, where he played 8 games, and then he played 1 game with Peoria.
Oh, he played for Niagara. Good for him.
Played for Niagara for 36 games, and then OHL All-Stars Canada U20.
Okay, so
the years that I will say actually matter.
2010 to now is when he's actually been pretty good because he's a 40-point guy typically, except for a couple down years.
So let me just read off the points.
No, because no one cares about the points.
43, 51, 24, slight dip. 51, 46, 37, 48, 54, 41, 52. This guy is a good player. Good pro.
Alex.
Reason why he was put in the captaincy. This is a viable option. And honestly,
because David Backes got traded.
Hey.
That's why.
Hey. If you can get this guy for straight 6, I want him on my team.
It ain't gonna happen. Well, here's the problem. He is in a fair world where the cap continues to climb. He's getting 9.5. The problem is no one can pay him right now. St. Louis has already said.
Well, people can pay him. It's just a matter they don't want to.
No, they won't be able to.
Yes, they can.
Excuse me. They won't be able to and have the.
Shall I go? No. Here we go. We're going to go to all the teams that have huge freaking projected cap space. Hello. Hi.
Ottawa, Detroit, yeah. Because Pietrangelo is going to waste his twilight in Ottawa.
No, because
Detroit,
he's going to go.
Buffalo, New Jersey, Colorado. But don't they have to sign McKinnon in a couple years?
Aha! Colorado's the kind of meh one because technically
they have to sign. I'm going to name them, Alex. Colin Wilson, Matt Nieto, Tyson Jost, Andrei Burakovsky, Vladimir Nemestikov, maybe Colin Wilson's or Nichushkin's RFA. Keep scrolling. Then you have Ryan Graves and he plus 40, and then Connaughton. Okay, maybe Zadorov. They're going to re-sign him
and Hutchie.
Ooh, that'll be tough. He'll have to be a cheap contract, but I'm sure you can swing that, give him a 2-way deal for $1.5 million, $2 million. But yes, Colorado could be an option, but they have to pay all those players. It ain't gonna happen. Pietrangelo is gonna have to take a pay cut if he wants to go somewhere and win. Okay, because there can be a team, a bad team like Ottawa, like Detroit, all these other teams that can actually afford this guy, but they won't be able to because they won't be able to because if he's smart, if he's gonna go to one of those teams, I'm asking for a crap ton of money. All right. I'm asking for double digits at that point. The Dallas Stars will not be able to afford him. Why?
Come on.
Scroll down.
I see it, but you know what? You don't need Corey Perry.
Vlad Faxa, Rupe Hintz, Dennis Gurianov. Keep scrolling.
Okay, but Corey Perry taken off your books.
Andrei Sakara, you could probably sign him for cheap.
Anton,
who's making a lot of money now there, big shooter?
Never mind. Well, I'm not saying
Dallas is going to have $10 million between 2 goaltenders again. It's going to be great.
Hey, I'm not saying give him big money. I'm just saying He can take a pay cut and win.
I don't know if he wants to, though. We learned that, Alex.
You don't want to win? He already won once. Don't
You're
you
right.
want another?
You're right. $12 million. Oh, my gosh. Alex Pietrangelo is going to play on the Detroit Red Wings.
Dude.
Top right defenseman, $12 million a year.
Well, first of all.
Make it happen, Stevie.
First of all,
Make it happen.
Steve Yzerman.
Let's go.
Steve
Screw the
Yzerman
cap.
is not going to spend that kind of money on a defenseman right now.
Make it rain like
One.
it's a, yeah.
And second of all, if Pietrangelo wants to win, then he's going to go to a team that can actually play right now.
Well,
Detroit can't play right now. I'm sorry. They are not a contender. They're barely a team.
I have to jump on the Twitter to stay active because I'm not gonna have the video up for the award announcements. I'll just update my Twitter because that's what I've done for the last little while.
Okay, because let's think about it. What are some other places that could possibly be picked? He could pick him up, and he would fit. That's another thing too. The reason why
that's why I don't know.
The reason why I picked Dallas is because they're a team that they can pick up. They're
gonna have to sign Heiskanen in a couple of years.
Not young players.
Heiskanen, you have to sign him. Alex.
I understand.
That's 9 right there.
I understand, Ty.
You don't.
But you can make moves. You can trade people.
That one I've been holding that from for a while.
You have to understand, Ty. You don't always have to just go and just from the list, all right, add in a piece. No, you can take this one out. You can push this one over. Bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. And
you're right. Like
fit.
I said, you could lose Andre Sekera, but it's because technically it's a Roman Polak on there.
And Pietrangelo. PP2.
What? No, because first of all, Alex, there's no such thing as 2 defensemen on a power play anymore, okay? This is not 1995. Get off your high.
PP2.
No, you can't. No, you don't have them both. You have I almost said Shattenkirk. You have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pietrangelo on one.
Did I mention that Pietrangelo is going to play wing?
No, that's not how it works, Alex.
Yes.
Alex,
put a defenseman
you are
on the wing.
video coach, not the assistant coach.
Hey,
come off your high horse.
Hey,
you've been video coach for what? 3 hours.
I'm listed as assistant coach.
You are listed as assistant coach by title.
Davenport D2 assistant coach. They call me AK.
No, Greener calls you AK because no. Alex Pietrangelo, this is a discussion I want to have after, because don't forget, we're going to have the Stanley Cup draft free agency. We will know within a week after the Stanley Cup where Pietrangelo is going to go. I don't know if it's going to be as big of a sweepstakes as John Tavares. I don't know if it's going to be as big a sweepstakes as
You want to know why it's not?
It'll be like a Brad Richards type of deal.
Do you want to know why it's not going to be as big of a sweepstakes? You want to know why? 1, he's not a center. 2, he's a defenseman.
He is a right-handed defenseman who can produce and he can play defense.
Doesn't care. Doesn't matter. No, he's a defenseman.
This is the reason why you're a video coach.
There's 2 positions that actually matter when getting
center,
paid.
Right-handed defense.
Center,
right-handed defense.
And goalie.
Right-handed defense. No, because
goalie
guess what?
Because it's the most important position
and
in all of
how is
hockey.
that $10 million looking for Sergei Bobrovsky?
Center?
Exactly. Center, right-handed defense. Goaltenders don't get paid.
Okay, did I say the 2 positions that were most expensive? No. I said the 2 positions that they are the most important when it comes to salary and signing contracts.
You mean success? Yes, goaltender and center. However, a good 2-way right-handed defenseman in this league is it's not quite a unicorn because we've seen it before. It actually exists. Erik Karlsson, remember when you had 2 ankles? I'm just saying, having those guys and able to produce, heck, there's a reason why Karlsson's making 11.5. If he was left-handed, he'd be making single digits, Alex, okay? Because that position is few and far between.
I'm right-handed and I could play defense.
No, you can't. You can barely skate backwards. You can skate backwards, but you can't keep up with all the NHL.
What the are you talking about? I can skate fine.
You can skate fine, but I'm just saying you're not going to get $10 million.
Oh, my. You're freaking... You can barely skate. Shut up.
I never said exactly. I'd be making single digits.
Why do you play goalie?
Thousands.
Oh, excuse me. Why did you play goalie?
Yeah, did you see my post today? I posted my old Davenport picture, my pasty white goalie pads. Heck yeah. Archer's Herbe, eat your heart out.
Whatever.
But, yeah, I don't know where he's going to go.
We'll see what happens. So, by the way, Thomas is in the Google Doc. Just for the people that are...
Thomas is probably like, what were we talking about again? Thomas, we're talking about the Cup final. Well, he's doing his thing now. He's back with In the Box.
He is.
He's doing his podcast again. Yeah, he's back at her. That's why he's been so prepared the last couple times. Oh, we have a quick one. Do we have anything more on the notes there?
We have the last thing, which is Bettman.
Okay, so quickly mention. Guess who won the Calder Trophy, Alex?
Elias Pettersson again.
No. Cale Makar. Who would have thought? Cale Makar is the winner of the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year, scoring 50 points in 57 games. Even while he was hurt, he was still the best rookie. Quentin Hughes, very good. He had a great year. Led all rookies in points and assists. And also Dominic Kubalik, got to give him some credit too. Led, I think, 30. Was it 30 or 31 goals? I think it was 30 goals. He had a great year as well. But they were not Cale Makar. Makar, well-deserved, called the trophy winner. We'll ask the guys what they think about that too.
So, we'll just throw this in there. Ottawa Senators, they decided to go back to their 2D logo. I'm personally a fan of it.
Are they going with is it the black with red, just the red strip, or are they putting the white on the shoulder too?
They haven't released the jerseys yet. All they've released is the logo. So it's just the 2D logo back again. They got rid of the 3D one. So they haven't released the jerseys yet. They will be doing that during the first round of the draft.
So whoever they draft, the 2 picks they have.
So the 2 picks that they have will be sporting their brand new home jerseys, and then after which they will release their home and away jerseys with their alternate as well. Bam!
Trent Stützle and who's the other guy?
I need more coffee.
Quentin Byfield's going to go to Los Angeles. Trent Stützle and I forget who the other guy was going to pick. Anyways, I talked about Stephen Ellis.
We've got like a week or so, bro. We got this.
Well, we're going to be like...
when I say a week or so, it's actually like 15 days, a few hours, something like that. There's a countdown somewhere. I don't know.
So, Cale Makar, yes, is your...
Oh, yeah. 15 days, 21 minutes in, 43, 42, 41, 40. Last point of business for news, and before we get into the Stanley Cup Finals, is the yearly and more traditional Cup Media Conference with Gary Bettman.
Oh.
What?
Leon Draisaitl has won the Ted Lindsay Award as the MVP as voted on by the players.
I'm not surprised.
He's the guy with the most points, and here's the question. Will he be the Hart Trophy winner?
No.
No?
No, because
you're right. Connor McDavid comes out with his... It's going to do the Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Back on! It's Austin! It's Austin's music! Back on! And here comes Connor McDavid, starts swinging just the hockey stick.
McDavid 316 says, I just won the Hart.
No.
Again.
Here's the best part, because they're doing it virtually, right? He's going to somehow...
You can't see my hands in this one.
Somehow he's going to jump around, like, to all the cameras, like, all the, like, the video chat rooms, and he's going to bounce around, hits one over the head of the chair, then walk over to Leon Draisaitl, and, Leon, I love you, man. Oh, my gosh, he's going to do the Shawn Michaels, I'm sorry, I love you, steel chair. And then he's going to go over to another guy, Nathan McKinnon, steel chair.
Well, no, that wouldn't work because Ric Flair was kicked in the face.
Listen, he's going to do the I'm sorry, I love you.
No, you got to say Seth Rollins.
He didn't say anything, though. He just hit him.
That's the point.
But no, Connor McDavid
He just does it.
But no, see, I don't... Connor McDavid, it seems like Leon Draisaitl will be the one to do the Seth Rollins bit. And then Connor McDavid's going to...
Plot twist. Riley Sheehan.
Okay, let's be honest. If the Edmonton Oilers were the Shield, let's be honest here. Roman Reigns is Connor McDavid, Seth Rollins is Leon Draisaitl, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is Dean Ambrose.
No, Riley Sheehan.
Tinky Winky is not in this conversation
because he's a lunatic.
He was a lunatic. He was a lunatinky Winky.
Okay. So let's get...
I had to make sure I got that
Tyler,
one.
you can just shut up for a hot second.
Wait, hold on. Did somebody call the Po? Get it? Po? Because Po is the Teletubby?
Oh, Tyler, there's so many things that are wrong with you. Getting back to actual news. So
this is news. Or we're talking about the Shield stuff.
No, you just yapping and yapping and yapping.
So do you want to know the vote for Makar and Hughes?
I don't care.
116 for Makar, 53 for Hughes. Wasn't even close.
Fantastic. So in the Cup Final Media Conference, Commissioner Bettman said that he wouldn't be surprised if next season's December 1 start date didn't slip into late December, maybe into January, but no definitive decisions or plans yet. This is by Pierre LeBrun at Pierre V. LeBrun on Twitter.
I think it's Vincent.
I don't care. So he goes on to retweet himself saying that statement mirrors what Bill Daly said on the Two Man Advantage podcast last week when he admitted that the December 1 date start was less likely. So this is just something that he's just going to keep on talking about when he's just going to, keep doing that because he's a good reporter. He keeps and goes on to talk about how the NHL is still intending to try, emphasis on the word try, and play 82 games next season whenever they start. Some speculation is that it's conceivable that next season starts without fans in the building, but then transitions to some fans in the rinks as the season goes on. He stressed that was speculation. Let me see. He also said that the Seattle entry into the league will not be delayed under any circumstances due to the COVID-19 and the different way of play. They will begin playing in 2021-22. This is all, once again, by Pierre LeBrun, TSN, at Pierre V. LeBrun.
One of the head writers for The Athletic. By the way, Rando wants me voted off the show now.
Wants you? Rando knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Oh, all of a sudden you're on Rando's side of things. Now, who's the Seth Rollins now? Rando's over here like Triple H, and you're just Seth Rollins. You're the Seth Rollins.
I'm not Seth Rollins,
Does that mean Wixie's? Does that mean she's Dean Ambrose or is she Roman Reigns?
No, I'm not Seth Rollins.
She is the big dog.
Tyler, if anything, I'm Randy Orton. I play for the winning team.
I play for the win. You are the Kevin.
You said what? Evolution's back. All right, I'm a head out.
See you guys. I know what I'm doing. But okay, so remember it was a couple weeks ago when Bill Daly started shooting his mouth off? We ain't playing until February.
He didn't shoot his mouth off. Someone asked him a question and he answered it.
You see, there's a reason why.
See, this is why that you're not going to actually get deep into the hockey world because you keep saying like that.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
I know.
Really hard. I don't understand what the point, Alex. The point. I don't understand the point of if you don't know an answer, why you say something. That's my thing.
Because sometimes you need to act like you know stuff.
I just don't understand. No, if you're Bill Daly, if you don't know an answer, because now he looks like a complete buffoon. That's my take on all this. I'm glad Gary, because listen, I've said it before.
Whoa!
Hold on.
Okay.
Gary Bettman, I have bashed that man into probably 25 graves in my head because, listen, I never liked the way he's thinking, all that stuff. He has handled this coronavirus, this pandemic, everything about it so incredibly well. And then Bill Daly comes out looking like the goat here. Not the good goat, Alex, the dumb goat. The goat with the horns. Because he starts talking, it's like, oh, yeah, we're not going to play until February. And Bettman's like, well, we're going to actually try to play in January. It may not be December 1st, but it may be around Christmas or a little after Christmas. And very calm. You got to choose your spots, Alex.
See, here's what I see. Bill Daly and Bettman probably had a conversation, something along the lines of that it could possibly
Hand me that pen over there, will you?
Possibly could go into February. So when someone asks the question, Bill Daly says that it could possibly go into February. And after hearing that, fans go in uproar. Oh, my God, February? You kidding me? No, we need hockey now. So what does Gary Bettman do? He saves face, makes sure to do his very best to try to calm hockey fans and saying, hey, we're still trying to get this, everything ready by December, possibly January. So it quite possibly could be the fact of Daly released information that Bettman didn't want to. Otherwise, at the very least, Bettman's just being optimistic at this point, and Daly is trying to cover all of his bases because Bettman is saying everything and making statements on the betterment of the league and trying to preserve face for that, whereas Daly just wants to, try to be as factual as possible. It could go either way, or it could be Gary Bettman being like, yeah, no, Bill, about that, no. And just being kind of a little bit of an ego thing because, This day and age, NHLPA, NHL, there's a little bit of a competition of who's got the bigger set of britches and who's got the bigger mouth.
Bettman.
Well,
Bettman just because of how he's able to take everything. Bill Daly just seems like he is one accidentally wrong question away from just becoming a rattlesnake.
Bettman's a cucumber, though.
Exactly. He's able, and that's what makes him, I think, him more of a baddie than anyone else. By the way, ready for this?
What?
Connor Hellebuck, your 2020 Vezina Trophy winner.
Why?
Most shutouts, arguably the MVP of the Winnipeg Jets this year. The only reason why Winnipeg was going to win against Calgary in the qualifying round is because of Connor Hellebuck. Good for him. I believe that makes him, Alex. Trying to think off the top of my head. Make sure I don't say this right. I believe that makes him the first Vezina Trophy winner to have also won the Mike Richter Award in college. I believe that makes him the first because I think Hellebuck, if I'm not mistaken, was the first Mike Richter Award winner. So good for him. Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck. He's the guy.
Well, something needs to happen that's good for that team.
Well,
sure ain't coming from Line. By the way, how's he doing?
I think he's back in Finland, but he's probably on the trading block.
He should stay.
Hey, the Jays and Yankees have started, and the Yankees have not hit 10 home runs yet.
Oh, that's surprising.
Well, actually, they're in Buffalo. They have a chance then. They're not at Yankee Stadium, which means they're only going to hit maybe 2 home runs tonight. That was a rough 3-game stretch for the Jays there. But good for Hellebuck.
You did see the Boston fan that did break into the Reds or blah 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 Red Sox.
The fact that it's taken this long for someone in Boston. Now I know it's happened a couple other ballparks. I think there was there an NFL guy that or no, just all baseball. I think it is. No one's done it in the NFL yet.
Well,
then again,
NFL is allowing players into the
25% capacity in Dallas, and the Cowboys still lose. Go Jerry World. But no,
40,000. Are you talking about the Stars, or are you talking about the Cowboys?
Well, no, it would have been 25% inside the Cowboys.
I'm talking about how all the Stars fans that are watching the games at American Airlines Center.
Well, there's probably it's probably a quarter of the capacity of the Jerry World of AT&T Stadium there inside the American Airlines Center. But I'm pretty sure all Cowboys fans are like, yep, we're cheering for this Stars team now. I'm sure some people know about the Stars, right? In Dallas?
Dude, they have a lot more fans than you think they do.
Alex, I've traveled to places where it's like remember, Alex, remember my trip to Denver? I literally had to ask the guy, hey, the Colorado Avalanche are in the playoffs. Yes, your Nuggets have made the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Good, great.
You understand that some people that don't pay attention to hockey don't actually know the teams.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. There's probably more
people aren't just like sports fans.
Like no. I was in Denver, and the guy I asked to put the TV for the game on, he's like,
I understand.
He did your your cross-eyed thing. Yeah.
I don't do a cross-eyed thing.
Yeah. Well,
I don't do a cross-eyed thing.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Then what is this? What is the thing we go?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You make your dir face. No, you do. You do a dir face with your eyes. You know that. Quit trying to save face, Alex.
I'm not trying to save face. I'm just having a pretty one.
Oh, wait. Are you serious?
I don't know.
Wow. Is it okay? I'm glad we're getting Peyton Turnage on the show.
Okay, why?
Guess who won the Norris?
Don't say Hedman.
No, that would have made sense.
Who?
Roman Josi.
Why? No. Okay. No, we're going to commercial now.
No.
Call Peyton.
Hold on. No.
Call Biondo.
Hold on. We got a few minutes before we can go to commercial with them. Roman Josi.
Why?
Wow, Peyton's happy. Oh, boy. Peyton's happy.
Of course he is. Something happened that was good for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I'm tweeting at him.
Them making it to the finals, it's just the biggest in your freaking back. No, you wanted to make it to the finals? No, you're going to get disappointed, and you're going to get disappointed rough. It's going to be the second overtime in Game 7, and you're just going to, we could win.
It was Game 6, okay? And I still don't want, even though I'm
talking about this year, bro. This year, bro.
Oh, they didn't have a chance this year. Oh, boy, this is going to be a showdown. between you and Peyton, I'm interested to see how this is going to go now.
All I'm going to ask him is why. And I'm going to say again, why. And I'm going to say again,
he's
why.
he's their captain. B, he's their leading scorer. He was their best player. Pekka Rinne and UC Saros were just like, I don't know how to goalie. I don't know why they turned Southern. I mean, then again, Rinne's been there for a decade and a half, so I could see why. But no, this makes everything interesting. I got a lot to talk about now. And all of a sudden, our feed just gave it. Well, not gave out, but
Fred's biggest disappointment in NHL history.
That's not the biggest disappointment.
No, you're right. It's Florida.
What?
No, you're right. It's the North Stars.
What are you saying?
Oh, I'm going down the list of the biggest disappointments in NHL history.
Wow, that's a debate for another day. Now, are we talking one season or?
You know what?
Because
I tagged you in it, and you didn't say anything about it.
What?
One thing that we need to talk about in the off season is we're going to make a list. We're going to do a fantasy city draft. We're going to start from scratch, and then we're going to have 32 cities.
Detroit, 3 in Toronto. Give 1 to Ottawa. It's Parliament. 1 in Winnipeg. Saskatoon.
No. Well,
Vancouver.
32 cities.
Victoria.
You cannot have one, or you cannot have 2 in the same city.
Toronto, Markham, Newmarket, Oshawa have a Toronto division.
See,
a GTHL division, Alex.
Yeah, and in all of that, a Canadian team still would not play for the Stanley Cup.
Montreal, Quebec City.
We'll talk about that later.
Halifax.
We'll get to that later.
That's an interesting one.
We'll talk about that in the off season.
It should be half and half.
Roman, why?
Like I said, he led the Preds in defensemen. He was still one of the highest scoring defensemen.
Time to look up Roman Josi real quick.
You know, you could just search Roman Josi and pull up his stats, whether it be Hockey Reference, whether it be NHL.com, whether it be Elite Prospects.
Or I could just do it right here on Cat Friendly. That's cool, too.
Cat Friendly, which uses Elite Prospects.
I don't care.
65 points. 56 points. Here's the thing. Roman Josi's been so good for so long. And that's why I can't wait to talk about it with Peyton, because the fact that he has been that good for this long.
But here's my thing, okay?
What?
What's the trophy?
The best defenseman.
Okay.
Plus, Alex, he's plus 41 on a team that had 2 goaltenders that had sub 900 save percentages.
He's not plus 41. He's plus 22.
Plus 22. He is a positive plus minus. Pull up his Hockey Reference, Alex. We're gonna get analytical here. We're gonna go full scale. I'm trying to think of the guy now. Can't think of his name. Ian Tulloch. We're going to go follow Ian Tulloch on this show.
Is he really the best defenseman, though? Is he really?
Who are the other candidates?
I don't know.
Look up Norris Trophy candidates. I don't remember. I remember I talked about it. Victor Hedman was one of them. And Victor Hedman would have been a viable option. I would have been okay if Victor Hedman got it.
I wouldn't want a Victor Hedman to have it. No.
2020 Norris finalist. Scroll down.
We'll talk about okay.
And John Carlson. Okay, yeah.
John Carlson, no.
So Josi or Hedman?
Yeah. No.
Josi or Hedman?
No. Neither.
Yet?
I don't like either.
You don't like either? Well, guess what, Alex? I'm trying to think of who are the other. So, it was Rask and he's
a great defenseman.
No, I'm thinking of goaltenders because I'm thinking of because Hellebuck came back up. Because obviously the last 2 have befuddled you. Hellebuck, I understand. He was the MVP. The last 2 guys that have won trophies have been the MVPs of their team by far. Hellebuck in Winnipeg, Josi in Nashville. Now, yes, could Rask have been the guy? Yes, but here's the difference. Rask was not the reason why Boston was successful.
See,
it was the fact that him and Halak were amazing in net, that the reason why Boston was so successful. That's the difference between Connor Hellebuck, who I love Laurent Brossoit. I've loved him since he was an Oil King. Laurent Brossoit. I love him. I've always loved him since he was an Oil King in the WHL. He was not going to do a whole lot for this hockey club. I tried to get all schmeal for a second. My throat just gave out. I want a better... I mean, this is why I can't wait for that's why I like to see how many votes came out. And this is why I want to become a member of the Pro Hockey Writers Union, because that would be a Pro Hockey Writers Association.
Can I put my vote?
Who would you have voted for?
Charlie McAvoy.
Go kick rocks.
No.
Kick rocks with
He's a good defenseman.
Go kick rocks with a flip-flop.
Plus 24. He scored 32 points this season, played 67 games. That's a defenseman. And, oh, by the way, did I say he's got spunk?
I tell you, he's got a punchable face.
Oh,
Just like the guy that's sitting next to me right now.
You don't like it because you beat for Boston.
No, I would be okay if Torrey Krug was the guy, because Torrey Krug's a good defenseman and a good offensive player. Torrey Krug is another guy that's going to be a UFA that's going to be making...
So you're saying Charlie McAvoy isn't a good defenseman?
He's not as... I wouldn't say he's as good as Roman Josi. Well,
Is
he's
he
not
a
as good as Victor Hedman.
Is he a good defenseman?
Is he the number one defenseman in Boston? He's not even the number one defenseman on his own team.
Then who's the number one defenseman in Boston?
Torrey Krug.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, so then why didn't he get picked?
Because he wasn't good enough. Now it was Charlie McAvoy.
Because let's look up Krug real quick.
Torrey... Oh, good lordy.
Let's look up Krug. Why not?
Peyton Turnage, where are you, man?
Let's just talk about it.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, look at that. Holy cow. He's jumping in live. Look at him. Ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, I got to turn his audio on. He just jumped in there. Wow, Thomas. Just stepping in there. Someone play Stone Cold's music. Psh, ladies and gentlemen, a member.
We can't hear him, though.
What?
We can't hear him because he... Da-da-da.
Oh, yeah, we can't hear him. Shoot,
job.
all right, Thomas, hold on a second. We're going to go to break. We have to get everything set up here for this awesome video thingamabob that we're going to do. We'll be right back with more of the Keel Show here on 12-Ounce Sports. Where's the music at? Ah! Thomas, you're screwing everything up, man. Look what you've done to us. You've ruined us. He can't even hear. I can't even hear what he's saying. But if he's saying something, he's saying too much.
He said hi.
Oh, he said hi? Good for you, Thomas. Thanks, Thomas. We'll be right back after this, folks.
Drink Aid, ready for distribution worldwide. Drink Aid, ready for distribution worldwide.
Welcome back to the Keel Show here on 12 Ounce Sports, presented by Second String Leather Company. Now joining us to help perform an abbreviated preview of the Stanley Cup Finals. Back for a fourth time, the voice of Alabama Huntsville hockey, Peyton Turnage, and the sole member of the Eight Timers Club from the In the Box podcast and the play-by-play voice of the Davenport Panthers, ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Biondo, our two guests for today.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
So this is kind of different for us because I have to look at, because they see us through, like you folks at home, they see us through the camera. I'm looking at them down here, so I'm just like staring at my monitor like a buffoon.
It'll be fine.
No, fine.
Yeah, but when you're looking straight ahead, you look like a buffoon anyway. So I mean, I don't know if anybody's gonna know. So
Thomas, listen.
See, Thomas, this is why I miss you.
This is why I'm taking my key back from you. Taking my key back. You ain't coming.
No, you're not.
No, you're right. I'm not. The wife won't let me.
No. That's.
So we went to break a little hot, Alex. We went there just a little on edge, and this is and the reason why is because the awards kind of got Alex a little hot and bothered. Not in the good way either.
Not necessarily hot and bothered, but rather just in a questioning mood.
Well,
wondering why they trust people with crappy opinions.
Wow.
How do you really feel though?
Yeah, so let's give a
feel.
quick rundown of the awards that we know so far. Cale Makar, Calder Trophy. I mean, are any of us shocked by that?
No.
I mean, Peyton. I think we've talked about him before too. I mean, Quinn Hughes had a great year, but Cale Makar was just head and shoulders. Even with missed time due to injury, he was still one of the best defensemen, not just among rookies, but in the entire league.
Yeah,
and I think Lynn having a better career than Hughes down the stretch as well.
Yeah, and then Thomas, I mean, what is your take on Cale Makar being the best rookie in the league this year?
You know, I think he also helped himself by being more of a household name by getting the taste in last year's playoffs. People knew already to be looking for him, and believe me, I don't think he was going to sneak up on anybody. But I mean, I think that little preview, if you will, really helped kind of set him off on a campaign. And again, I have no problem with the pick whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think Alex and I both agree that's a pretty good pick. The Ted Lindsay Award winner and the Hart Trophy winners we found out over the break, Leon Draisaitl. The Art Ross Trophy winner as well, most points in the league. Another guy, I mean, Alex, are you shocked that Leon Draisaitl got it?
I'm not shocked. I just wish that whoever wins the Ted Lindsay Award doesn't sometimes get the Hart Trophy. Like, I just feel like
Connor McDavid's going to call us on the show and be like, excuse me.
Here's my thing. I just feel like someone needs to go into that committee, go into all the votes, and just decide what actually is the definition for each trophy. And can we just get like an actual, so like the Norris Trophy, best defenseman. Does that mean the defenseman with the most points? Does that mean the defenseman with the best plus minus, or does that mean the best defenseman that actually knows how to play defense? That's the real question.
Peyton, if you could please explain Roman Josi why he was a viable selection for the Norris Trophy winner here in 2020.
Well, I mean, it was for me kind of a tie between him and Victor Hedman. I think Hedman is the better overall defenseman in the league, but Roman Josi had just a great season. He's established himself as the number one guy in Nashville up there with Ryan Ellis. And, he's dependent upon to play 25 plus minutes on average. And people are starting to take notice of him. He's not even, known for his offense anymore. He does do the right things defensively. So this year he finally got rewarded for it.
And, Thomas, you and I have had this discussion many a times on the Norris Trophy, on its legitimacy and whatnot, because some people would say, it's the guy with the most points. I mean, but it just seems like Josi, simply because of the fact that he was the MVP of the Predators for the most part. I mean, I think that's why he's a well-deserving candidate for this trophy.
Yeah, a lot of times when it gets down to the final three, I'm not usually one to get that upset over who the winner is, because I really feel like all are deserving. And I also feel like you take any one of those three guys off of the team that they're on and just watch the free fall for those teams. And I know, I almost look at the Norris as like a defensive MVP. And I just feel like any of those guys would have really hurt, or you remove those guys from any of the teams that they're on, and it's just, you're handicapping the teams. But I do agree with what's been said, and I'm sorry to say it, Alex, because we're so close. But Yossi really did take some steps forward. Steps forward is wrong because it implies like he wasn't already there. But the defense really caught up to the offense, and you mentioned it, Peyton, with the 25 and a half minutes a night. I have no problem with this whatsoever.
See, I can agree with both your statements and everything. Not necessarily you, but obviously our two guests here.
Now you're just sucking up.
You guys do bring up valuable points. I'm just saying that I personally wouldn't vote for him. I mean, he had a plus minus of 22. I think he had above 50 points this year. Was that
65? I think it was
65. It was. And like you said, 25 minutes a night. Yes. So obviously he kind of had the thing that Mark Giordano had last year, where since he was just overall the best defenseman on the team and arguably the MVP, just throw him in that picture. Just get him in there, vote for him, and ended up getting the Norris Trophy. Hellebuck did end up getting the Vezina. Thomas, we'll start with you. What is your take on Hellebuck getting the Vezina, and who do you think should have won? Do you think he deserves it, or yes or no?
Well, I don't talk for a living, so this is really okay. I do. I do think he deserves it because honestly, you saw what Boston did, and it's so tough because I've been watching so much playoffs, and you got to put yourself outside of that, and you're also basing these awards on hockey that was played 4 months ago. Puts you in a really tough position overall, but at the end of the day, I think that, yes, I know that Tuukka Rask or the Jennings, I believe, went to Boston, correct? I believe Boston ended up winning the actual Jennings Trophy, Rask and Halak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? Yeah. But I think that Hellebuck, again, it's almost like take him off the team, and I think that Winnipeg is in a world of hurt. I think you could obviously make the same argument for Vasilevsky, considering he hasn't gotten a moment off in the playoff tournament. But the Jets also didn't really have the defense in front of them. They were almost completely revamped their defense in the offseason, came back with probably a little bit of a lesser defense and brand new pieces. His numbers were still really good in compared to past seasons for himself. So I think they got it right there too.
Peyton, what's your take on the Vezina conversation and Hellebuck winning?
We look at this sometimes from a cumulative standpoint. Sometimes we like to combine regular season and playoffs. We like to combine in the guy's performance over his career. But, most of these times it does really come down solely to the regular season. And Connor Hellebuck was the guy for Winnipeg. Like we talked about, their defense was so decimated and struggled, and yet he was the guy that was the last line of defense for them, stopping pucks left and right. And he was basically the reason why Winnipeg was even a contender for the playoffs.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Hellebuck, I think it was 7. I think he had 7 shutouts. He led the league. I know that. The only guy, there's only a couple of guys that are right behind him. One of them was Elvis Merzlikins, who, if there was an award for most shocking player, most surprising player, at least in the regular season, that would have been him. But now, Alex, it's time. It's time to officially announce the winner. Officially announce the winner. I forgot my trophy, but it's okay, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, the official winner of the TKS, an inaugural playoff picks championship, with a record of at least 12-10, and who cares how this next series goes? 12-10. Me! I'm the winner. Look at me, Alex. Look at that record. Where are you at? You're just
Tyler. You did something somewhat successful.
I did something somewhat successful. These guys don't see the graph at all, but I put up a chart just on the screen there, guys, for everyone to see that I am excellent at being a playoff picker.
I didn't see that in my outline that you were waiting. Were you waiting for us to come on to mention that? I missed that part that was going to be mentioned. So thank you. including us in that.
It was gonna be they didn't. You guys were gonna be able to see it anyways.
See,
but we've
you
been
just have to
tracking them.
remember, Tyler is full of himself. So when he gets a chance to be able to show off,
That
and be
sounds
like,
more.
look at me! I did what I did. That's what he does. And that's why he loves just being able to talk for a living. I want to hear my voice, man, and I just want to dissect, how I did. No, you want to listen to yourself, man. All right.
Peyton, here's the thing. I feel bad for Peyton because Peyton, for the long story short, Thomas and I, we worked together at Davenport. He's been over at my place many times. He was at my wedding and all that stuff. So unfortunately, Thomas and I have beef. And Alex, for some reason, decides to get involved in it. So don't feel left out. Just understand that Thomas and I, we got problems.
Heaven forbid that Peyton would have to talk to you more.
Oh, God, that's true. That is true.
My goodness.
Having known you for a short period of time, I know you like to talk to hear yourself talk.
There we go. Yeah, get in there, Peyton.
Just going to lean over here. Have a good show, everybody.
He knows. He's got you.
So let's move on to the main event of the evening. Dallas versus Tampa, the Stanley Cup final played in the Edmonton Hub. Lord Stanley's Cup looking on for all of the games this series as they had in their nice little ceremony. I thought it was kind of a little bit dumb, but why not?
It's the Stanley Cup. You got to try to do something, especially in the bubble.
Sure.
So game one, the Stars win 4-1. People say that they survived the third period, but from watching the game, I honestly think that the Stars had the game in hand. It was a slow start, but Dallas kept up with Tampa and getting through the first two periods. 18-14, Tampa through 40 minutes in those first two periods were the shots.
Or no, was it? I think I wrote that wrong.
Did you?
I think it may have been Dallas. I wrote that wrong. That's my fault.
Either way, when I was watching the game, it really sounded like it looked like Dallas was getting more chances. So maybe that's on you.
In the first 40 minutes, yes. And I think that was the big part in that game was where Dallas got such a good start because we didn't know how this. I mean, these two teams, did they even play each other twice in the regular season? I don't think they even did. They did.
They made a point in the broadcast where Dallas actually won both in overtime.
And that's just the thing because these two teams are so incredibly different. We'll get a little bit more to the preview, and just the fact that they were able to get through the first period no problems. The second period they were able to get a few good chances. Joel Hanley scored. I didn't know that guy was even still on the roster, but Dallas has been able to do that the entire time. You have Alexiak scoring, and then you have everyone's favorite Finn, Yoel Kiviranta. Okay. Can we just and Peyton? I remember
is he really everyone's favorite Finn though?
He's my favorite Finn right now.
Okay. Well, thank you for speaking.
He's the favorite Finn that's remaining in the playoffs.
That's
besides
probably
Asa Lindell.
Okay.
That's probably true. Yeah, on his own team. Well, okay. Can we just say this right now? If we could just simply have the Finnish commentary for the rest of the finals, because I'll be honest. I mean, all of us are broadcasters here. That guy's putting us all to shame whenever Kiviranta scores with his goal calls. You're not supposed to be biased, but clearly he's cheering for Kiviranta.
He's rooting for Finland.
That's true. I mean, Peyton, I'm pretty sure you can attest to that because, we talked about it a little bit after the second round after Kiviranta had that great game. Is Kiviranta for real?
The more he plays, the more he's starting to convince us. He's not so much a one-hit wonder, but he's starting to become a household name in Dallas. And, he's getting in there, getting the chances. And sure enough, he takes two shots and one of them goes in on Vasilevsky. So he's building his stock up. He might be on Team Finland in 2022.
Quite possibly. But Tampa did end up bringing the heat in the third period with 22 shots, 22 saves for Hugh Dobin, 35 saves in total. Question for you, Thomas. There's a lot of talk about how good Heiskanen has been for Dallas, but do you think that everything considered, as of right now, do you think Hugh Dobin should be the Conn Smythe winner or at the very least in the conversation?
Yeah, I would. He'd have my vote. Because what Hugh Dobin's done a little bit differently, or he's had his Conn Smythe moments, I think. You know how I'm going to go back to what I know. And, there was the famous Conn Smythe shift from Zetterberg back in 2008, where the 5-on-3 penalty kill. And a lot of people pointed to that shift as like his Conn Smythe moment. Well, when you look at what Hudobin did, this third period, and then, actually going back to the Vegas series, the third period, the first game against Dallas, or the first game against Tampa and the first game against Vegas were very similar, where Dallas was, the fresher of the two teams, as the other teams were coming off a longer series. The first two periods kind of even for the most part in terms of overall play. And then what he did in the third period, if those game ones, I think you're going to look at as like those were his Conn Smythe moments. And that's why to this point, there's still 4 games left, but to this point, or however many games left, but to this point, Hudobin would be the Conn Smythe winner to me.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got the talk of the town all talking about him as far as, this series goes, just because I think as of right now, when you're looking at these two teams, goaltending is a huge factor because it's not necessarily that you have the strongest defense in all of the league when you're talking about both teams, and it's not necessarily that you have the strongest offense in all of the league when you're talking about those two teams.
Except maybe Tampa. Tampa's pretty good.
Well, Tampa is very good, yes, but they're not necessarily. How do I put it? Not everybody boasts about Tampa being, they have the best offense ever. They're huge, just bang, bang, bang. They have a lot of key cannons, if you will, if you're shooting off your guns.
Yeah.
But as of right now, the thing comes down to, who's scoring the goals and who's saving them, or who's making sure that they don't go in. And as of right now, Vasilevsky and Hudobin are the two people that you need to look at because there are a lot of shots that are being put on net right now.
And the funny thing was, when I talked with Stephen Ellis of the Hockey News on Thursday, he brought up a really good stat. Going into these finals, Hudobin was 7-1 when making 30 or more saves. He's now 8-1. And Peyton Turnage, I mean, you remember a lot about the Nashville Predators run in 2017 and how good Pecorine was. This is as close as Hudobin, the way he's played, has been able to steal the show, play outstanding. Almost said phenomenal, Alex. But, and Thomas is going to hate to hear me say this name, but in terms of the coming out of nowhere in the playoffs, the closest name I can think of is another guy that wore 35, and that's J.S. Shiger back in 2003. That's how good Hudobin's been.
Well, I think it's Jeff Merrick, I believe, that says that they should rename the game of hockey. They should rename it to goalie. Because that's what seems to matter most in these situations. Hey, Hudobin's been the man. He and Bishop were, I think, at one point in the regular season, they both had .930 save percentages. And, of course, we worried about Bishop, what was going to happen when he came back from injury. And Hudobin's been that brick wall this whole time. And I think he should get the Conn Smythe off of the We're Not Going Home video all by itself.
Well, who did it better, though, Kivi Ranta or Antoni Hudobin? Kivi Ranta dropped an F-bomb right before that, so that's why we could only play a part of it on the air.
Most certainly Hudobin.
Why? Is it why? Because the picture of him that's circling around social media?
I'm sorry, but a goalie just go, woo!
A goalie that's... Have you guys seen the picture that's been circling around of Antoni Hudobin, like in a bar somewhere, like probably in where, somewhere in probably Ufa, Russia?
Sure.
Like he's got like a basket of wings in front of him and like 3 pitchers of beer around him, and he's just like sweating profusely. That's right there is the Conn Smythe winning trophy winning goaltender, possibly.
Absolutely.
I mean, hey, at least he knows how to party.
Nobody parties apparently like a Russian party, according to Antoni Hudobin, even though I'm pretty sure Thomas's boy Kid Rock will distinguish otherwise.
Nobody parties like a magic elf.
Well, Kid Rock, because remember Kid Rock did the thing, there ain't no party like a Detroit party because the Detroit...
Oh, I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Whatever, as you were.
Thomas froze. Okay, no, okay. He's back.
He's fine.
He's blurry. Thomas is moving so fast.
Right.
Moving on.
So, okay, one thing that needs to be said, and obviously, Thomas, I'm going to say that you watched the entire game, correct?
I'm pretty sure they both did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peyton, did you watch the game as well?
With passing interest. The eyes were kind of going up and down from the phone.
With passing interest. So,
admittedly.
For the sake of argument, let's just say that everybody was able to watch the game. Because, Ty?
I was in a wedding.
You were slacking.
I was in a wedding. I was an MC. I was an MC.
Other Tyler. Yes.
I was a groomsman and an MC at a wedding. I was doing double time.
You were MCing?
It was at
Oh,
Sabrina's
good
house.
God.
So I was MCing. I was like, yeah, boy, woo, where's the new bride and groom? Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
That was me.
So in game one, there were a grand total of 106 hits. And obviously, I think Dallas definitely took the more liberty of playing a lot of more physically. This is going to be a question for both of you. Peyton, we'll have you going first. Is the physicality of this series going to last? Is it going to be as hard hitting as in game one, or do you see it kind of filtering out and trying to become more of a skill game as we go deeper into the series?
Well, I think it will need to be for Dallas. That's been their game, their bread and butter. They're kind of like the Islanders, but even more tough and have more finish. But I think Dallas is going to keep it up on the intensity physically, and Tampa's going to have to ramp it up themselves because they're going to have to beat Dallas at their own game, it seems.
Thomas, you have both teams with key players that know how to play physically. I mean, Jamie Benn isn't afraid of dropping the mitts if he has to, the captain of the Stars. And then obviously the Lightning trying to bring in some other key players to kind of build up some physicality, like players like Pat Maroon, who coincidentally won the Stanley Cup last year, and now he's back in the finals trying to go back-to-back with two different teams. Do you think that the physicality is going to keep up as the series goes on?
Yeah, I don't necessarily expect 106 combined per game. I think that might be an anomaly that we don't see a lot of. But I think that, kind of like what Peyton said, I think we're going to see hits because these are hard-hitting teams. That Dallas defense does not shy away. You got Perry, Sagan, and Ben up front. They're going to throw the body around. And as you mentioned, Maroon and that third line of Gord, Coleman, and
Goudreau, I think. Goudreau.
Thank you. Those guys like to hit. So I think you're going to see it. And I didn't even mention Cedric Paquette, who's one of the big hitters, has been a big hitter for the Lightning for a long time. So, yeah, I think, like I said, I wouldn't expect 106 per game on average, but I think we're going to see a lot of bodies running into each other through the course of the series.
It's funny because I've been paying attention a lot more to the hitting, because there was all the talk heading into these playoffs of, it's not going to be as intense because there's no fans, but it just seems like a lot. I mean, there are some games that are pretty, laid back. I think the Islanders-Panthers series was pretty clean for the most part. Not too much physicality going on there, but it just seems like if it's the right matchup, you're hitting triple digits every night. And I guess that's almost like the positive side of this bubble is the fact that, or playing in the bubble with the fact that these teams, all of them, and I guess, Thomas, will go back to you, is that no matter how the atmosphere is, no matter if it's piped in crowd noise or not, these teams, whether it be Tampa versus Dallas or Dallas versus Colorado or Tampa versus Boston, is that they're still playing physical and they're still giving 110% intensity. I mean, that's what makes the playoffs the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be the Stanley Cup champion. And I don't think that there's any sort of asterisk that goes with it. Like, honestly, I think you could really make an argument that this might be a harder cup to win because you are doing it kind of in a sterile environment, away from your family, and you've been gone. These two teams have been gone probably, I think August 1st. So they're going to be gone basically 6-8 weeks by the time it's all said and done, and not, without getting home, without seeing the family. You've seen the videos of a couple guys that when they return home and the kids, and these two teams are doing without it. So I think that that's what's got to keep you going. And I think that some of the early departures were teams that didn't take that. There were some articles that came out about, where the Caps really taking it that seriously. And, they had an early exit to go with it too. So I really believe that there's a lot of the ability of these two teams to stay with it is really just because, you're playing for the end prize. And I think that that's what kept a lot of teams really kind of focused on it.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton, you are a fan of Smashville. It's in the name. I mean, it's pretty much, it's all hunky-dory down for the playoffs because that's what we've seen for years, but it's just the fact that it continues on despite not having the same atmosphere. I know that sounds like I'm pretty redundant, like a broken record, but it's the truth.
Well, Smashville has been smashing lately, but anyway, it's been the more physical teams like Dallas, that had prevailed in these playoffs because, like Thomas was talking about, playing in the bubble, it takes such a mental toll on you, and you really have no one there but each other. You're playing for you, you're playing for your brothers, and, especially Dallas, you see those inside the locker room videos with them and Coach Rick Bowness. I mean, they're so tight-knit, and that's why they've gotten this far, and that's why I hate to use my prediction early, but I think that's why they're going to take the cup.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
Well,
I don't want to tell him he's wrong, Alex, but...
Whoa, hold on. Hey.
We'll get to that later. We'll get to that
later. But before we get to that, let's talk previewing this series the best we can, obviously with Game 2 being tonight. I think 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes,
correct?
8 o'clock. 6 o'clock in Edmonton.
Yes.
7 o'clock for our good friend Peyton Turnage. I got you, Peyton.
Correct. Good old Central Time. So let's start with the Stars, Peyton's pick. Number 3 seed in the West, they knocked off Calgary, Colorado, and Vegas. They went CCV all the way through. This is their first final since the year 2000.
Year 2000.
Are you sure? I thought it was the 99 Cup.
No, they made it. Remember Jason Arnott, New Jersey, 2000? That was Dallas.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
They were there. They didn't want to be remembered there.
Jason Arnott. No, they beat
New Jersey beat
Buffalo.
No.
Right?
They beat Buffalo, I think, in the playoffs that year, maybe, on the way, but New Jersey was New Jersey over Dallas in 6 games. Buddy, you are talking to the Stanley Cup master.
Thomas is nodding yes, so I'll take his input there.
I can go back to you want to go back to 1940? I can do this, Alex. All right, here we go. Ready? There we go. No.
Or New Jersey over Dallas.
Yeah, it was New Jersey over Dallas. Just for the sake of time constraints, Alex. Let's just trust me.
First final since 2000. The last time they won the cup at the very least.
Yes, was 99.
Was in 99
Yes.
because they scored that nice little controversial goal on Hasek.
But there was the facts that was sent out to everybody except for Buffalo.
Sure.
The facts of the rule change.
So Heiskanen is currently, is 4th in playoff scoring with 23 points, leads the Stars as well. There's nothing really to be said about that other than he's playing phenomenally. Never would have guessed it.
Oh, of course you did.
However, only 2 points in the conference finals. Peyton, do you look at Heiskanen's performance recently, and do you think that he should be worried about, or at least Stars fans should be worried about how he's performing right now?
A lot of his numbers came from that Calgary series. I mean, he played just out of his mind, and his numbers exploded. I think he was leading by a pretty wide margin after that series was over in playoff scoring. I wouldn't worry too much about Heiskanen because the other defensemen are stepping up for Dallas. We've seen Asa Lindell. Jamie Alexiak has played exceptionally well. He scored a partial breakaway goal against the Islanders. And then we saw the unknown Joel Hanley. So if Heiskanen is slacking, which is only just a little bit really for his standards, don't be too worried because the other defensemen are there too to carry the load for Dallas.
Very good point. Now, going on to more of the offensive side, Jamie Benn has definitely been a great captain, leading his team with, not leading his team, but leading the team, and then also having 18 points total, 8 goals, 10 assists. Playing against in the Vegas series, he had 3 goals, 2 assists with a total of 5 points. Thomas, how important do you think Jamie Benn has been to the Stars in this playoff run, and specifically in the conference final?
Well, I forget what game it was, but he got a fire lit when Rick Bowness split up that top line, and Jamie Benn ended up on the 4th line when the split happened. I think Seguin was on the 1st, and Radulov went to the 2nd, and then Benn ended up on the 4th line at the start. And from that moment on, because it just really stuck out to me because they were talking about it so much during the broadcast as well about, him being on the 4th line, and he really took off from there. And they needed that. The forwards really have not been scoring much for Dallas. I mean, the Dickinson goal was the first goal not by a top 6 forward since Game 4 against Colorado. I mean, think about it. I mean, it was Hintz and Faxa scored in that. And every other game, it's been Kiviranta or Radulov or those top guys, Pavelski. So they needed somebody to really take charge. And Ben doing it against Vegas in the conference finals, they needed it, they got it, and it's been huge.
Jamie Benn, and it's so I remember I kept saying going in throughout these playoffs, even against Vegas, even when they lost game 2 and it was only 1-1 series, I said, see, Dallas doesn't have it. And I keep pointing the fact that the top line was never going. No Tyler Seguin. Alexander Radulov either scores or gets a misconduct or he does something dumb. But then Jamie Benn just like, all right, guys. And like I said, what Thomas said, that fire is lit. And Peyton, you can kind of, go off on this here. That top line was supposed to be the bread and butter for Dallas, but just the way the playoffs work, it's the guys in not just the top 6, but the guys in the 3rd and 4th lines that are helping out for this Dallas Stars team. And Dennis Gurianov stepped up. Rupe Hintz, I know we haven't said his name much on the score sheet, but he's playing well. I mean, it's not the big guns for Dallas, which is funny because Texas, It's not the big guns working for the Stars. It's the ones in the supporting cast that have stepped up during these playoffs and now into the Stanley Cup Finals.
Don't have too much to add to that. I mean, you hit all the points right there, but Dennis Gurianov has really been the guy that stepped up. He's been there. We talked about Rupe Hintz last year, how he stepped up and was the unknown. Now it's Gurianov who's been the guy that's exploded for Dallas and has contributed from, I suppose, the bottom 6. I'm not sure if he's had second line time, but he's stepped up for them, and Dallas has been playing really good with the sum of their parts.
Now, I will ask, again, another question for both of you to answer, and we'll start with you, Peyton, going back to you. This one is actually kind of changing the one that we had in the script that we sent you guys, but who do you think are going to be the real key players for Dallas here? I mean, we talked about Hudon, we talked about Ben, we talked about Heiskanen, but overall, if you had to take a top 3, you don't have to necessarily use those names, but you can if you want to. Who are the top 3 guys that Dallas needs to really perform well in this series if they want to lift Lord Stanley? Peyton, you first.
I don't know so much of the top 3. I mean, a lot of those names you mentioned are guys I would say too. But Jamie, I got to talk again about Jamie Alexiak and how well he has played both offensively and defensively, jumping up and down the ice. He has been my X factor for Dallas, and he's got to keep that performance up if Dallas wants to win the Cup.
And Thomas, I guess, what would your take be? I mean, there's a lot of guys on Dallas that have played well and some guys that have shown in some games. Some have gone pretty quiet. Who needs to really step up for Dallas?
Well, to step up, it's Tyler Seguin. I mean, he's got 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points in this playoff run. It's almost remarkable that Dallas has gotten this far with Tyler Seguin with 2, 6, and 8. I mean, it just seems impossible that would happen. I mean, to Alex's original question, I mean, it's got Ben Heiskanen and Hudobin have to keep going. I mean, that has to happen for them to at least have a chance. But I think to get over the top, I think Tyler Seguin's got to find something, because the fact that he's got 8 points in 18 playoff games is almost shocking, because I just happen to be looking it up on something different. And the fact that they are 3 wins away from the Cup with Seguin having those numbers, he's got to get it going, I think, for them to be able to stay ahead of Tampa.
Well, I will say this. We do have to remember that Seguin was hurt. I don't think he didn't do any training camp. I think he just jumped right into game action. So he was not 100% going to these playoffs. And we've seen with some of the guys that's kind of affected them. Of course, Nicholas Backstrom for the Capitals. But, yeah, Seguin, he needs to do something. That's my thing. It's like I watch him. If I'm watching a game, you almost have to look for him on the ice if you ever want to see him. So, yeah, I mean, with Thomas' point, Sagan's got to step up. Radulov's got to try not to lose his mind and snap, but it's with all these playoff runs. You always hear about these 3rd or 4th liners. I mean, you wonder why Alex the Grind line always started in the finals for the Wings back in the late 90s, because they were the guys that Scotty Bowman looked and said, all right, these guys can set the tone. And those guys played a difference always in the playoffs. And that's why I think Dallas has been so successful.
You're right, yeah. And
I know I'm right.
Well oh,
you chose those are your
gentlemen. You're gonna have to help me keep reeling them in here. I can only do this for so long.
Reel me in, just reel me in. Gonna need a big bass rod for that one.
Yeah. So let's move on to their counterpart, their opponent in the nice little final we have here. The Lightning, number 2 seed in the East. They beat Columbus, Boston, and the Islanders. They only lost 5 games heading into the finals. with Stamkos out, you look at the front, Kucherov and Point have been the real bolt bread and butter, as Tyler writes. But I would say that they're just
Well, you like to use the B a lot, the bolt bread and butter.
the bolts bread. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought you liked that, so I was like, I'll give it to you.
Kucherov he leads in playoff scoring with 6 goals, 20 assists, and 26 points overall. In the conference finals alone, he had 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. Point, he had 9 goals, 16 assists. Second in playoff scoring for the team, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points total in the conference. Peyton, I would say that you're kind of a Bolts guy a little bit, right? Wouldn't you say? Kinda.
They're okay in my book, but
Okay in your book.
Carolina's more my East team, but
Oh,
There
no.
See, I told you. That's why I like him.
No,
Carolina.
no.
He hit it.
Man.
it used to be Buffalo, but they've been so undeniably bad.
But they got Eric Stahl, though. He's going to save that franchise with his monotone
Sure.
interviews and YouTube, Twitter videos and stuff.
He was really excited to join a passionate fan base, wasn't he?
Oh, man. I've never seen a man look so much in pain. Like, I've seen lost puppy dogs look more excited than Eric Stahl.
Well, lost puppy dog probably is happy to be found. Hi, look, I'm here.
My mind kept going back to the Cody Hodgson Vine where he goes, "Hey, Sabres fans, I'm Cody Hodgson. I'm going to be a Sabre for the next 6 years."
Oh, man. Hey.
Hey, ow.
Can I tell you a story that I heard about that?
Oh, boy. Story time with Thomas.
Well, supposedly, that he actually didn't put Buffalo on his no trade clause list because he didn't expect to be traded to Buffalo. He didn't think that there was a possible path for him to be traded for Buffalo. So he left them off his list. And then he ended up being traded to Buffalo.
That's
That
funny.
was the reason why you saw a lot of angst, because he never expected. He didn't want to go to Buffalo, and he was so sure that he wasn't going to be going to Buffalo, he didn't include him on his no-trade clause list.
That's why those no-trade clauses, I always like, oh, he's got an 8-team no-trade list. I'm like, man, you really still have an open end there. That's still another 23 teams that you could get to. But I've got to ask, because do you guys remember last year when Capo Caco was drafted by the Rangers? Do you guys remember that? Or at least the video? What was worse, Capo Caco's Twitter video when he got to New York where he's like, I am so happy to be in the Big Apple. That, Eric Stahl, or Cody Hodgson?
Eric Stahl caused me like actual physical anguish, so I got to go with that one. It was the complete opposite of Jack Eichel chugging the beer at college saying, "Buffalo, I'm coming for you."
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Stahl as well. I'm going Big E as well.
Man, I feel bad too because I was writing the article for the Minnesota Wild. I'm like, man, they may be good. Eric Stahl's still playing well, and they trade him for nothing. Marcus Johansson, but it's not Marcus Johansson from 10 years ago.
No, not at all. But so I'll ask both of you guys, looking at the Lightning, who has
back to the story. Back
to regularly scheduled programming here. Thomas, we'll start off with you. Who has been the Lightning MVP this entire playoffs?
I sometimes do this where considering how good Point and Kucherov have been, they almost cancel it out for me. So I'm going to go with Hedman. Yeah. I have just kind of marveled at Victor Hedman. He's just so good. And that's not expert analysis by any stretch, but some of the goals that he scored, just smart shooting goals. They showed where, taking a little bit off, very Nicholas Lidstrom-esque, where, taking a little bit off, the Swede, but, taking a little bit off shots, more for placement instead of just trying to put it through the goaltender and really, he's just so smart, so good jumping into the play, and yet always back in time. And I tell you, it just doesn't seem like he's ever on for a negative. I'm sure that's not true, but it just seems that way. He's never on the ice when the goals are given up. I'm going to say, they won games when Point was out. They won a game. Kucherov's been good. I got to give it to Hedman. I think that if you took him off the team, I don't think Tampa's still playing hockey right now.
it's funny because because Victor Hedman was a candidate for the Norris Trophy. When Andrei Vasilevsky was nominated for the Vezina, I'm like, really? I'm like, he's not that good. But Vasilevsky has shown why he was a Vezina candidate in these playoffs. And Victor Hedman, for me, has shown why he can be a guy that can be considered for the Norris. It's been how important he's been for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I know how Thomas just made the reference to Nicholas Lidstrom, Swedish left-handed defenseman, tall. Victor Hedman's got the long hair. That's the difference in him and Nicky Lidstrom. But Peyton, for me, maybe it's because it's the number, 77. He looks a lot like Raymond Bourque in some retrospects. A very good offense, but also very good in his own defensive zone, and that's why he's, as Thomas's pick, the MVP. But who do you think would be your pick for the Tampa Bay Lightning?
It's hard to argue against Hedman because we saw what happened last year in that Columbus series when Hedman was banged up. That was it. Tampa didn't stand a chance. So if we go beside Hedman, I'm going to say Braden Point. He's a little bit banged up right now. That's a little bit concerning. Can he pick his performance back up? If he doesn't, I've tweeted, I said, Tampa can't beat Dallas without Braden Point, especially how instrumental he was in that Columbus series. So other than Hedman, I got to say the MVP is definitely Braden Point.
I was about to say, didn't Point, the one game he missed was one of the Islanders wins. I mean, if they can't beat the Islanders without Braden Point, they certainly can't beat Dallas.
That's a fair point. Well, I mean, you still do have Hedman back there on defense, which, by the way, quick fun fact, 9 goals in the playoffs this year, third most all-time by a defenseman. Or no, he just has 9 goals in the playoffs in general, doesn't he?
9 goals in the playoffs in general, which does not include the round robin. They made sure they counted that out so they wouldn't get in that. But, yeah, the round robin.
Which is funny because in theory, the whole thing is that the round robin also counted towards individual stats because it's kind of part of the playoffs, but then it's not.
But they're not going for playoff, like records.
See, but I don't get if you're going to count that as individual stats, but you're not going to count it as overall playoff records. That just doesn't make sense.
Well, that's why the big deal with Nathan McKinnon with all those points with Colorado, it was such a big deal because everyone's like, wait, is that 25 points within, including the round robin? No, that was 25 points in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. That's what was so big about him.
You want to know who my MVP is for the Lightning, though?
You know what, Alex? Just so you can get in the conversation, sure.
My MVP for the Lightning is Steven Stamkos.
Wow, okay. Take us through it, Alex. I mean, I do have a question about Steven Stamkos here in a second, but I'll let you go.
I do, yeah. So my theory is that, yes, he's been hurt. And you know what they haven't rushed to do with Steven Stamkos? They didn't rush him to get him into Game 1. The quote is, as of right now, is that for Game 2, you'll have to, quote, you'll need to tune in and find out to see whether or not he's going to actually play tonight. But I don't see it. And you know what? That's why I think he is the MVP of the Tampa Bay Lightning because, for one, he's not being rushed into play because I just don't see him that they need him.
Well,
because yes, he was part of the.
They confirmed he was out, Alex. He's not playing tonight.
Okay, but they confirmed that.
But he is skating. He is skating, yes.
Fine, but that's why he's my MVP is because if you did bring him in, because, yes, he's the captain, and he's done so much for this organization, and, this is a chance for him to win, for him to be a part of winning the Cup. No, it's better for the team for him to not play. You can have him there for the photo ops and, accepting it's in the East. Isn't it the Prince of Wales Trophy?
Prince of Wales Trophy.
Yes. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Hi, say hi to Wixie, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
It's Wixie. Wixie. She scratched it. She wanted to come in.
These poor guys. They're just like, I want to talk about hockey. Now you're showing me your dog.
It's named after Haley Wickenheiser, so it does have to do with hockey, and she's our unofficial mascot. Anyways, you were going about Stamkos.
Yes.
Or is that it?
So,
okay.
He's my MVP.
Let's throw the discussion to the guys now, because now let's go with Peyton first. Alex, you want to hold the puppy?
I'll hold the dog.
Peyton, Steven Stamkos is skating, and we talked with Justin Godfrey of Raw Charge on Monday. He doesn't expect him to come back, but is it worth it putting Stamkos into the lineup just because would that throw a wrench in the camaraderie that the Lightning have built over these playoffs?
I think it's not really worth it to overextend, to shoehorn him in the lineup. It's like if he plays, where do you put him? that top nine's pretty well established. You put them down in that fourth line, what good is that? I was watching NHL Network before this. They were saying if he did come back, maybe just play him power play only, which maybe Tampa's power play could use that, considering they're 0 for 14 in their last 4 games. But that's the only way I could see him working here.
And Thomas, everyone loves to look at that story of that the 2002 team, despite it being the Hall of Fame team, the team I was supposed to win. Steve Yzerman was still the best player on that team, and that was with half a knee. His other knee was just gone. And do you think that would inspire the Lightning, or do you think do they actually need Stamkos?
Well, so this is, we might talk coaching a little bit, and this is kind of, I think, John Cooper's biggest decision to make. And I'm going to frame it with Stamkos if he's available, but he's been going with the 11-7 method, 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. And I'm sorry, because I'm going to go a long way around to get to my answer here, but there's been, since he's done that, Killorn gets kicked out of a game, Point leaves the game early, Maroon gets a 10-minute penalty for firing a puck in the bench, giving them long stretches of 10 forwards out there. They got a back-to-back Friday and Saturday. There's a part of me that really thinks that they need to go 12-6 at some point, really between the Wednesday, Friday, Saturday section. I think that they need to go 12-6 to kind of give their forwards a little bit of a break. And if Stamkos is truly cleared to play, use him. Use him as the 12. Even if you pull him right back out to go back to the 11-7, I think John Cooper needs to, in one of those 3 games particularly, go with the 12-6. And if Stamkos is healthy enough to do it, I would go with him.
I would.
Well, at the very least, how much did Landy McDonald end up playing when they won the cup?
Holy cow. It's funny because remember that famous goal he scored in the 89 final?
Yes.
He was coming out of the penalty box.
Correct.
So that means out of the 7 minutes he probably played, 2 of them are probably spent in the box.
Right. So if it's not even just a matter of the load management, which by the way, Thomas, freaking nice take there.
Nice take there, bud. No, I like to think that if it came down to a possible clinching game and you could throw him in, for the sake of just giving him the cup, because he's been there with that team was awful. Like Vinny LeCavier when he came into the league, awful. And he's been able to help bring that franchise back to relevance again with obviously other players supporting cast, but he has been the face of that team for so long. It'd be wrong if he was not part of that last game.
But moral of the story, though, Stamkos, even at 75%, is still Stamkos at 75%.
Now, remember the whole Tyler Johnson problem when he broke his wrist in 2015. Is Tyler Johnson with one wrist better than, I forget who are the guys that could have been jumping the lineup, but
was Tyler Johnson Steven Stamkos?
That is true, and you're right, Alex. Bill Buckner was not that bad of a first baseman, but he was old in '86.
He hit a dinger.
He hit a dinger at one point, but then he let a ball go through his leg. So I don't know if Stamkos would be the Buckner or the Landy McDonald. But history repeats itself. And I don't know if John Cooper knows which side of the history books he's on this one.
Maybe, but let's talk about it. 2 differing coaching styles, both in the finals. Rick Bowness versus John Cooper. Peyton, we'll start off with you. Just right out of the gate, who's the better coach?
Gosh, that's a hard question considering the 2 combatants, because Cooper has been, a proven leader for so many years with Tampa. You wonder when that 10 years is going to run out. And then Rick Bowness has come out of nowhere and been a wonderful coach, probably the best players coach there is right now. Getting those guys to gel together to be a family. I guess if you're looking at the hot hand, I'd have to say Rick Bowness.
It's funny because Bowness is an interim coach, and I look back at a guy and I hate to say it because he's I know he's a Michigan guy. He's from West Michigan, but I'm going to say it. Dan Bilesma was not a great coach. He was able to inherit a good team in 2009 and take them to the final, and they won the cup, okay? But Bowness has been able to continue to build because, remember, Jim Montgomery wasn't necessarily fired. He left the team because he was having personal problems. And Rick Bowness has stepped in and was able to help this team continue to improve. So it wasn't like this team was playing bad and Rick Bowness turned this team around. But that said, Bowness's style has been able to just work with the Dallas Stars and the way these playoffs have played out. He's been able to take that style and work and stop some of the best offenses. They stopped Colorado. McKinnon, Burakovsky, Rantanen, that offense that was tearing up everybody, Dallas stopped him. Now Tampa with John Cooper, and you got Braden Point, Kucherov, the top 6 that are clicking. Victor Hedman scoring. Kevin Shattenkirk is relevant again. Game 1, they were able to kind of thwart him off. I don't know if they can do it the whole series, but Thomas, I mean, you have an established coach like John Cooper versus Rick Bowness, who's been around the game for, 50-some-odd years, but never been a quality head coach in the NHL. But now here they are going head-to-head in the Stanley Cup Final. Who do you think behind the bench has the upper hand?
Yeah, because I am going to just look at it right now, and I am going to go with Rick Bowness, and I think it's kind of, you guys have really mentioned all the reasons. The camaraderie that the Stars seems to have seemed to be a little bit, I don't want to say shocking, but not that it's shocking, but what he's done to bring that team together. And the other thing is Tampa's supposed to be here. So yes, you get credit as a coach for doing what you're supposed to do, but I think when this started, I would guess that Dallas didn't have a high percentage of picks around, the league of who was going to really come out of the West. Yet here they are, and I think that as much as Hudobin deserves credit for that, I think you got to look at the coach and say, hey, you got them to the heights here. Yeah, they haven't won it yet, but they've got this far, so that's really saying something.
First thing, I'm like, well, Rick Bowness has done a good job because despite, not being the head coach the entire year, he's been able to take this team. But Cooper's done it for so long. After game 1, you got to say Bowness, but I don't know. I mean, tonight will definitely improve if Cooper can be the better coach. I mean, I've seen so many matchups. I mean, you look at a match between Barry Trotz and Joel Quenneville, and we saw, I don't know if it just could, I mean, I would thought Florida would have played better, but Barry Trotz's teams just seem to work better. So obviously Barry Trotz is better than Joel Quenneville. I mean, head-to-head, it's tough, Alex. It is tough indeed.
Head-to-head to Hedman.
Oh. And I don't know how that played in, but just no.
Even Thomas is rolling his eyes.
That's why they muted, so you don't have to hear their groans. It's the smartest move. That's a game changer right there.
Fair enough.
Eric Fair?
No.
No, Eric Fair? Okay.
See, if I can't do it, then you can't do it. Should we bring up the Hudobin-Vasilevsky question once again, or shall we go to the predictions?
I think we should go to the picks because since the game starts in the broadcast starts in over 5 minutes, game probably starts in 10. People will probably want to go to the bathroom after they watch us and go watch the game. The last half hour of the show is just going to be me just yelling about something that does nothing because no one's going to be watching us at that point. They're going to be watching the Dallas Stars and Tampa.
Absolutely. So let's get these picks in. That way these fine gentlemen can go on with their evenings, or at the very least they can watch the game. So, Peyton, we will start with you. What is your prediction? You already said Stars are going to win it, but how many games are going to take?
And why? I don't know why I said it like that.
First of all, I want to apologize for losing my ambient lighting. I know I've gotten progressively darker as this has gone on, but
Thomas is shining more and more. I think you gave it to Thomas.
I spoiled my pick with Dallas, and I'm saying 6 games because I'm too chicken to say 5.
Ooh.
That physicality and that immovable object, I think, is going to outperform that unstoppable force that Tampa is.
When he Gorilla Monsoon come out of his grave.
Fair
The
enough.
irresistible force made of the immovable object.
Thank you, Tyler. Now, Thomas,
Biondo.
what is your prediction? Who is going to win Lord Stanley's Cup, and in how many games?
Well, I'm going to do all Dallas Stars fan a favor because I've picked against them in each of the rounds, and here they are. So I'm going to continue that so that I can get credit for the reverse jinx and give Dallas a Stanley Cup. I will go Tampa in 7, and I do think that I think that the Tampa, the third period Tampa is closer to the first and second period Tampa. And I think that over the course of a 7-game series, that'll show. I'm not predicting multiple 22-2 shot periods, but I do think that they will get swarming and eventually they will break through.
Fair enough. Tyler, your pick.
Your pick first.
My pick first?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Well, see,
because you were so unsure.
I'm a good, hearty soldier. And as a true Canes fan and a true crusader of the Carolinas, it was voted on that the Canes now root for the Stars. It is a fact. We are going to wear green. We're going to root for the Stars, and we're just going to hope that they have a good time.
You're wearing blue.
Well, I'm wearing because this is a nice shirt.
You're wearing blue. You're a traitor to your Canes. How dare you?
Oh, for Pete's sake. Yeah, and you're wearing black. What does that say about you? Who are you rooting for?
It was the nice colored shirt that I wanted.
Exactly. You wanted to wear that shirt, so you wore it. I wanted to wear this shirt, so I wore it.
This is a neutral shirt. This is a Kuehl Show shirt, which you can get at teespring.com/store/the Kuehl Show with dashes in between the Kuehl Show.
Anyways, my pick is going to be the Stars. I'm going to say in 7 because I do think that Tampa is far too good of a team to let this go down without a fight. It's going to be second overtime. Something weird's going to happen. The Stars are going to it's what's going to happen is just like when it did with Chicago when Kane ended up putting it in the net and they ended up winning the cup. Nobody knew in that entire building other than Patrick Kane that he won the Stanley Cup. He did it. He did the thing, and that Stars in 7. Tyler?
All right. So for any of you that have been watching the past few weeks, I think the only series I picked against, I picked against Tampa, against Columbus, and Boston. How dare I, Alex? You know why I say how dare I? Because after the Tampa Bay Lightning were knocked out by the Columbus Blue Jackets, I said it on this program. Congratulations to the 2020 Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. They are 4 wins away.
Okay.
My well over 400-day prediction.
Okay.
6 games, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay.
Stamkos gets his cup. John Cooper is one of the select few coaches to win the Calder Cup and the Stanley Cup. And I am Nostradamus. Except I didn't predict 2012, so I didn't do that. But this prediction I'm right on. I'm going with
Tyler.
it. That'll be my pick because I picked him last year and I should never picked against him, and I picked him to win the conference final. So I can't say it's whether I pick against them or I pick for them, they win. So I could pick for the Detroit Red Wings to win next year. I mean, it probably won't happen, but
We could.
I mean, Thomas, do the Wings have a chance? Well, okay.
Unless they're Pietrangelo, Krug, Hall, trading for a couple of guys. That's how it's going.
We're gearing up. We're getting ready.
I
to
did
go.
say Pietrangelo. I mean, if Steve Yzerman wants to give him $12 million, I mean, heck, he could play on the right side in Detroit. He's already got his cup. Give him his money. But it'll certainly be interesting, though. Game 2 starts coverage starts in just over a minute, so we should probably let these guys go, Alex. And we should probably hit the old breako.
Probably should. We are going to go to break here, and then afterwards, we're going to see what Tyler wants to talk about because we got 30 minutes to kill here on the Kuehl Show on 12 Ounce Sports. Thomas, Peyton, thank you so much for joining us. We'll obviously have them in somewhere. We'll be talking about their following stuff, at
Thomas Biondo 1 on Twitter and at Biondo TV for this guy right here. And for Peyton, at Peyton_Turnage and El Patron. Great Instagram name there. El Patron. Follow both those guys. They all produce great stuff. Guys, thank you very much.
We'll be back. All right.
Drink Aid, ready for distribution worldwide.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Keel Show here on 12 Ounce Sports, brought to you by Second String Leather Company and MyBookie.ag.
Oh, they're down there. Yeah, they're down there eventually. Hold on, let me
Eventually, once you get that popped up there. Thank you once again.
There they are. They're right there.
Yeah, right there. MyBookie.ag. Thanks once again to Peyton Turnage, the voice of Alabama Huntsville hockey, and the voice, well, one of the two voices, really, of Davenport University hockey.
He's the voice
Biondo.
of Davenport that people actually watch. Does that make sense?
He is the voice of Davenport D1. How about that?
Women's and men's D1, yeah. And he did a D2 game last year. We had our massive Davenport or hockey day at Davenport. We're just completely
Hockey day at DU.
We're gonna have
Absolute gong show.
I think it worked out. I think
sure.
I think we went 3-1 that day. The only team that lost was women's hockey.
Well, I mean, as far as actual hockey,
you're talking about off the ice stuff.
As far as actual hockey goes, yeah,
The
hockey
only-
day at DU was a success.
The only problem I think
Working in sports marketing, though, oh my lord, don't even give me.
it was interesting because I did the full D1 game. No, I did 2/3 of the D1 game. Went and did D3 because I was senior night. Came back over to finish D2. Then I did women's with Walker Orand. That was a rough day. And that's why I said, I'm like, we can do that schedule again. If D1 starts at like noon, if it goes like noon, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that can work. 'Cause then you stay all on one sheet of ice, and then everyone gets to play. It'll be great. Anyways, but yeah, that was a fun chat. I'm just glad it worked. It looked good too, didn't it? I think it looked good. I think the quality looked good. I mean, it's a bummer.
with the video chat and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, no, I think it went well.
It's a bummer we couldn't have Harrison because so the way the cross works is I know Thomas. I've seen Peyton. I mean, we talked to Peyton many times now. I know Harrison. Thomas and Harrison haven't met, but they've chatted before. Because remember, they all gang up on me in the group chat. And then Harrison knows Peyton. It's a big web of stuff. And Alex is over here. It's like, I know. Well, you know Thomas. And you know Thomas.
Well, yeah, no, I know Thomas. I mean, heck, we've talked a bunch.
Well, we've done the show a bunch of times.
We've hung out a lot. You know, we've done stuff.
Did you ever? Oh, that wasn't you. It was It was my birthday when Cooper came over with Thomas. You think you and Cooper are bad. Thomas and Cooper, like, you guys are your own faction. Hugh, Cooper, and Thomas can be a faction.
Oh, we could. We could just take over. And we're
And
just
no,
destroy
and no, and
you.
no, it's not evolution. It's the social outcast.
Sure.
Or whatever the, or I'm trying to think of another faction that failed. Not quite the,
IRS,
no, IRS was a wrestler.
the corporation.
Wait, now hold on. No, wait, now what? No, what kind of corporation? Are we talking Shane McMahon Corporation? Or are we talking like Moneybags, like Ted DiBiase, IRS, and like Brother Love or whatever it was?
No.
No, you're confused. Okay,
I'm just trying to I'm trying to go through this right now.
okay. So what we're gonna do here? We talked about off the top of the show, and we thought, oh, it's in the offseason. I'm like, well, we have half an hour. We already went through the awards and our takes on all of them. We did that with ourselves, and then we did with Peyton and Thomas. I'm like, well, we really got. I mean, we could do all the here's this guy's gonna sign here, and this guy's gonna sign here, and this trade's gonna happen so they can sign this guy. We can do that after the season, folks. We can do that then. That's when we, of course, will be going to once a week. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to say that I don't. I love doing the Thursday shows. They're fun. They're quick. See, if you didn't have a job, and I didn't have a job, excuse me. No, I say this. I mean, not like a job. Like, I'd like to do. Remember what Hockey Central used to be, where it was just an hour Monday through Friday,
Sure.
like that. I mean, we can't do that obviously during the offseason because then again, they don't even have Hockey Central on Sportsnet Radio in the offseason.
Ideally, we'd have a Sirius XM show, and we'd do mornings.
Like more, yeah, but like just like hour-long shows. Recap the night's action, talk to a guest or two, and then here's what's going on tonight. Like stuff like that. That would be fun.
No, we'd have a guest.
No, they were able to, because we, okay, so
A guest the show. It's only an hour though.
yeah, just do it. Just do
only
a couple,
a show.
just a
or
couple,
a guest.
just a couple 15-minuters or a couple 10-minuters. Some.
If
Hey,
you want to set that up, sure.
hey, that would be my job. Yeah. All right, Alex. As soon as you're done with school, we're gonna have the greatest live daily show in the history
Tyler,
of
you
hockey.
just tell me how much you're going to pay me, and then I'll see if I want to do it.
We're gonna get some sponsors. Anybody know any sponsors that want to support us? We have a hockey program. It'll be great. Yeah, we're one of the best ever shows. People things.
Yeah. If you're watching me right now, and I'm just like scribbling away at stuff, we're doing so.
Alex is trying to plan for what he's gonna say. I can probably just go, because it's what third. So the fantasy draft of the cities where you'd want NHL teams. I want Alex to, are you really you're writing them all down right now?
Yeah.
I was just going to go, let's do 4 divisions, but we're going to do 4 regions, okay? We'll make it simple for everyone here. Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, okay?
Sure.
And this is excluding, was there a rule on it? Was there a rule, Alex, on how you can pick cities? You said no, not 2 teams in one city, so which means New York would be, well, technically you could say Long Island. You're going to pull it up?
Yeah, let me try to pull it up real quick.
Because it's interesting to think, because there is always the talk of Arizona to Quebec or putting a team in Quebec City and whatnot. And when the Thrashers were around, they thought the Jets were going to move back from Arizona, or at the time they were Phoenix. And I remember I wrote an ACT prep essay. There was supposed to be an argumentative essay, and I decided I'm going to argue why the Phoenix Coyotes, because at that time in high school they were the Phoenix Coyotes, why they should not be an NHL franchise. Because at that time they were bankrupt up the wazoo. That team had zip for money. There was no fan support. The team was garbage. Actually, it had been junior year. That was right before they went on that 2012 run. It was more or less, for me, it was a financial thing why they should not be a franchise. If you put that Arizona team, that Phoenix team in the early 2010s, 2010, 11, and 12 teams, put those teams in Winnipeg, those teams are, A, most profitable because look at that fan base they have now. What are you pulling up there?
Hold on.
Who went
You just keep
Teams
talking.
are together
Keep talking.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to do.
Keep talking.
You're looking at salary cap.
I'm trying to look at. I'm trying to find it.
Let me try to go back to that article. Let's see if I can find it if you tag me in it.
Well, I did tag you in it.
Facebook, even though I don't like using Facebook. Yes, I know. We post our stuff on Facebook. I don't
Yeah.
like Facebook.
See, okay. You don't like Facebook. I personally like Facebook. People say that Facebook is out of date and only old people use it. No, everybody uses Facebook.
I'm okay with Facebook. Oh, it's an athletic article. That's why, Alex. Facebook is nice to look at memes. That's really the reason why I love it. All right, here we go. All right, let's see. This is from Eric. Oh, gosh. I forget this guy's name every time. Duhachik? I think it's Eric Duhachik. If you start from scratch, which 32 cities would get NHL teams? And I got to log in because apparently I'm not on this phone yet. Continue with Facebook because I already subscribed to The Athletic. I am cool.
You're cool.
I am Tyler Kuehl. Oh my gosh, the Jays right now the Jays are beating the Yankees.
Great.
Sorry, that's my bad. All right, let me go back to the article because I have to click it again and okay, because I had to log in. Sorry, I got to scratch my ear. Okay, here we go. 25 years talking about the league. I don't see any rules.
I'm going to say...
Before we get into a longer way on the pros and cons, made a few changes, went season tickets, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, he's actually talking about his pick. All right, let's do ours, Alex.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here are my two rules. They have to be considered a major city in North America by population, and two, you cannot have two in the same city.
Okay, so...
And when I say same city, I mean you can't put 7 different teams in the GTA.
So you're telling me I couldn't have an Islanders and a Rangers?
No, but you could have a Long Island, and you could have New York City.
You know, some people in Scarborough, Alex, take very hard offense to that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they're technically not Toronto. Toronto's a big city, yes.
And they're not Toronto, so they don't get a team.
But Oshawa's big. Okay, all right, fine. We'll do it that way. All right. So that's the rule. So we're gonna do a geographical, well, like they should right now. They don't with the Atlantic Metro, but that's not here or there. Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest. All right? 8 teams per division. Here we go. Alex, we'll start off in the Northwest. Do we want to just do bang, 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 bang?
I'm just looking at...
You're writing this all in Sharpie, and I can smell it over here.
It's fine.
I'm going to write this in pencil. All right? So we'll start off with the Northwest. You, Alex, your first pick of the fantasy draft, even though we can pick the same city.
First pick in the fantasy draft you said Northwest? Or Northeast?
Northwest.
Northwest.
No.
First pick goes to Vancouver.
Vancouver. And I see one of your picks, Alex, and I'm going to tell you that it's wrong because of geography. If you split the continent in half, your top pick would not work. I'm just saying it now. So you say Vancouver, and
I'm figuring it out as I go. I'm just picking.
Should we have done separate picks? Because I agree with Vancouver as well. Vancouver just because it's a major Canadian city, great market for hockey when the team is good. And, you know, they're so passionate that they'll burn their city whenever they lose. So I think that's a perfectly good reason why they should be a team. All right, your next pick, Alex. Out of the Northwest.
Out of the Northwest, Calgary.
I may as well write this. I think we can both agree that all the teams in Western Canada, all the cities in Western Canada, are viable options. So let's just get it out of the way now.
No, not all of them.
All right, so Calgary and Edmonton.
Calgary,
and
Edmonton, Winnipeg. I'm also throwing in there
Vancouver. So those 4 are already in.
Yes.
I'm going to add one in Western Canada, Alex.
Okay.
And it's one that I would like to see.
Okay.
Because it's a very rich province, and I think if the city's big enough, if you made a bigger arena, it could work. 15,000 is all you need. That's what they have in Winnipeg. All right. Saskatoon.
No.
Regina?
No.
Or just not in Saskatchewan?
No.
See, that's why it's my pick. Saskatoon. Very rich province, lots of money, and people love hockey out there. It's a different kind of fan base, but you can make it work.
Here's my thing.
Nope.
Okay.
This is our picks. I got my reason.
Well, no.
You don't need to tell me why I'm wrong, because
I'm
I'm going to tell you why you're wrong when you go to the Southwest.
Okay, fine.
All right. Another pick, Alex. So we have 4.
We're in the Northwest still, yes?
So Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg are off the board. I go with Saskatoon with my 5th pick. Yours, Alex?
Milwaukee.
That's Northeast.
Northwest.
No, it's Northeast. Or are we just going to... Are we going to consider?
Milwaukee.
Are we going to consider the Mississippi the dividing line?
No. What we are going to consider to be the dividing line is based on how many teams you're putting in the Northeast, how many teams. So I'm putting Milwaukee.
So we're
as
pretty
in the
much we're
Northwest.
geographically. So I'm just saying, Alex, that's the Mississippi. The Mississippi is the dividing line between East and West.
No.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Where does the Mississippi start?
Uh,
Where does the Mississippi start, Ty? Come on.
I can't look it up on my laptop
Fine, I'll look it up for you.
because I think it's east of Wisconsin.
Lake Itasca. You want
Which-
to know where that is, Ty?
Where is it?
Minnesota. That's not where I want the line to start. Where I want the line to start
Lake
is,
Michigan
is
South.
Lake
Lake Michigan.
Ontario.
No.
All
No.
the way over
Nope.
the state
Alex,
line.
Michigan is in the
down.
Northeast. Michigan's in the Northeast.
No. You want
Yep.
to know why? Because I want Detroit in the West.
Nope. You're wrong. Fine. Go with it. I'll tell you why you're wrong later after the show. We don't have enough time. All right. So you're going to say Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is my next pick.
Major sports town.
Major sports town, high population.
I'm going to use with my 6th pick here in the fantasy city draft. I'm going to use
Milwaukee, 31st biggest city in the United States.
Well, they have They have the Brewers. They have the Bucks. It's a major sports town. I'm going to go with Minneapolis, though, as my 6th pick. The Twin Cities, because, I mean, the Wild, it's a big market. It's the state of hockey. But unfortunately, Minnesota's so big and they have so many small towns, that would be the only area of Minnesota that you want to put a team in.
Fair enough.
You got to give your next pick there, bud.
My next pick is Minneapolis.
So are you at 6 there?
Currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
All
In the
right.
Northwest.
And my next pick here, inside the 32 pick, I'm going to go with Seattle. Seattle will be my next pick.
That is also my next pick.
All right, so we're at 7. Now, Alex, I'm going to have you go 8. I will let you
I don't
go.
have an 8th one yet.
Oh, I just poked myself. That hurt. Anyways,
Don't do that.
So apparently I'm the Northwest off the top of my head because I'm going to consider Colorado the Southwest. Because I don't see any reason why you put any more teams in Canada. Because if you're just going to stick with the provinces, Alberta, Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan. No, it's Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia. I don't see any other teams in British Columbia realistically. So that's why in the Northwest, Milwaukee's a good pick.
See? Now you're thinking, like, oh, no, traffic.
Well, the one team you put over there in the West was wrong. One team you put in the Northwest was wrong because they're technically in the East, but that's not, I guess.
No, well, they're in the East right now, but I'm putting them in the West.
No, I'm talking about some other one there. I'm talking about that one.
That's not East.
No, that's West, exactly, but you didn't pick them, but they should be in the East because of where? Geography. I'm going to go with, you know what? I hate to follow Alex on this one. I hate to be boring, folks, but Milwaukee. Just because in terms of big cities and ability, I mean, they've had the Admirals there in the IHL, the AHL for so many years. I don't see why not. We have 10 minutes. We should probably hurry this along.
Okay, so that's the 8.
Southwest.
First pick, LA.
You do need to have LA. Yep. I'm going to go with LA as well. And that would be where the Kings. Yep.
Anaheim. I still think it's a viable market.
See, that's why I think maybe I might start blending my Southwest into my Southeast because I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Denver. I'll just put Denver for Colorado because that'd be the city.
Okay.
That's my second pick. Go ahead. Your third pick, Alex.
San Jose.
Are you going to start picking all of the cities that already have teams?
No, I'm picking San Jose because I don't think that they should have two teams in that city, but they still have good fans.
Vegas for me. I just think Vegas is actually, I think it's because it's worked out so well. Just because it is a big city, it's got it's got a big fan base.
I also put Vegas.
Okay, so then that was your third pick. My fourth pick, Salt Lake's so small. You couldn't put anyone in Utah. I'm going to put Dallas. Dallas will be my Southwest. I'll go with Dallas. Yep. Dallas because it's a big city.
Yeah, Dallas, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's your pick. That's your fifth pick?
Sure.
I'm going to do that one that everyone almost lost their minds about a few years ago, Houston. They had the Arrows. It's another big city in Texas, and there's a lot of snowbirds that come from.
I'll take Houston.
So that's your sixth pick? Now, this is where it gets tough for me. because I don't want anyone else in the Southwest. I really don't. So I'm going to put one over here. I'm just going to say, right off the top, I'm going to say Nashville.
Did you say Phoenix yet, Ty?
I did not say Phoenix
Okay.
because I don't want Phoenix.
Fair enough.
And you have Phoenix.
Mhm.
So that would be considered your 7th pick?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7th pick.
All right. All of a sudden, I realized that we're not going to be able to do geography anymore because I have no one else I want in the Southwest. So I'm just going to throw them in there just because. I'm just going to throw Chicago. I'm putting them like on the border on my little cheat sheet here. So with my 7th pick of the Southwest is Chicago.
Okay.
You're trying to block your picks?
Yeah.
What's your next pick?
My next. Wait, you put Chicago in the Southwest?
I don't know where else to put them. I can't put them in the Northeast because I'm going to have 8 teams in the Northeast.
You're dumb.
They're going to be like the
my
Jets
eighth-
their first
my-
2 years where they were
my
playing in the what?
My 8th pick is Salt Lake City.
I
Utah.
thought about it. Yeah, the Grizzlies have been there for a long time, but I just don't see them being a viable option in the NHL.
I don't know, man.
And
I like that city. I like Salt Lake City. It's a possibility in my eyes.
So. Can I just put like the letter X?
Sure. Sure. For the sake of time, yeah.
Because I don't know where else to go with the Southwest. Let's jump to the Northeast.
Northeast then.
I'll pick first. Just get this one out of the way. Toronto,
Okay, Toronto, I put there.
Montreal.
Yep, Montreal as well.
Are we going to put all the original 6, with the exception of Chicago, in the Northeast, or are you putting Chicago in the Northeast?
I did not put Chicago in the Northeast. I put Chicago in the Northwest.
Okay, so Chicago's in the Northwest. So all the original 6 teams. Let me just put the range. So I'll put New York, and then Boston, and who else am I missing? I got Chicago already. Detroit. So we got those 5 in the Northeast, right? Detroit.
No.
You really didn't pick Detroit.
We'll get to it.
You really didn't pick Detroit. Oh
we'll
boy.
get
Okay.
to it.
So what 5 do you have? So Toronto, Montreal,
Toronto, Montreal,
Boston,
NYC,
and New York City.
Boston.
So that's where we're both at. I picked Detroit as my 5th. Yours is
Mine is going to be Philly.
Philly. Yep. That's my 6th pick as well. And then your 7th pick?
7th pick is Ottawa.
I'm going to go with Quebec City on this one. Actually, no. At this point, it's just going to turn into an East and a West. So Nashville and Chicago will be in the West. Yeah, I'm just saying because Quebec City, Pittsburgh. Where am I at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pittsburgh. And how many did you say, Alex? Are you at 7 or 8? Because I will throw Ottawa in there just because you need to have both the capitals of the respective countries added. So I got Washington, Ottawa. So I'm at
I have Quebec City.
I do too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm at 10. Where are you at? You said NYC, Montreal, Philly, Ottawa, Washington, Boston, Quebec City. That's where we're at. You're saying Long Island. I will say I'll put Buffalo just because so that's 11. I need 5 more. I need 5
Wait,
more.
you're just going in the East?
I'm just going East now because I realize
Okay.
that
So for people that are keeping track at home, my Northeast is NYC, Long Island, Toronto, Montreal, Philly, Ottawa, Boston, Quebec City.
because there's a lot more teams in the Northeast for me
Okay.
than I would the Southeast.
Then, if I count this out right, my Southeast is Washington, Dallas, Columbus. Oh, shoot. I should have. No. Okay. Washington, Dallas, Columbus. No. Detroit, Nashville, Raleigh, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Grand Rapids. You want me to read those off again?
You said Grand Rapids.
I did.
Wow.
Yes. So since
Well,
you
because
weren't paying attention,
I did throw Grand
my
Rapids.
Southeast, Washington, Dallas, Detroit, Nashville, Raleigh, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Grand Rapids. Yes, I have Pittsburgh and Philly in 2 different two different divisions, and there's a reason why.
You need a team in Florida.
That's Tampa.
Yep. I think you could.
You have Raleigh because that's still a very good option, and the fan base is phenomenal there.
I wouldn't do Raleigh. I'd do Charlotte if I did that, but I'm not going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm just going to put 11 here so I know the number. 12, 13, 14. I need 2 more. I said Hartford because I still think there's a passionate fan base. Hartford because they got screwed out of money. It was a money thing, just like Winnipeg. I'm just clapping in 1, 2, 3.
Wait, you're gonna put
I
a team
agree.
in Maine?
I agree with you in Grand Rapids. No, I'm not going to put a team in Maine. That is minor leagues heaven up there, Portland. 2 more in 2 minutes. I'm going to go with. I'm going to throw a second team in Florida. I'm going to go Miami. The Miami area, because it is a big city down there. And at times it works. When the team is good. When the team was in Miami Arena, that team was profitable. They move out to Sunrise, nothing. So, Miami, yes. No, what? No, not Miami. Going off the grid here. Going Orlando. Going for my Solar Bears, Alex. Orlando.
I can
And
see it.
with my 16th, I had actually picked 2 more because I had to pick 1 more in the West. 1 more in the West, 1 more in the West, 1 more in the West, 1 more in the West. Help me.
Phoenix.
I'm not going to pick Phoenix.
Put Phoenix. Then just put Arizona.
I'll put San Jose. I'll agree with
New Mexico. Put a team in New Mexico.
Albuquerque. Yeah. The Albuquerque Aces. That's a great team right there. East. Who else would I want to see in the East?
Did you put Carolina down yet?
I'm not putting Carolina down, Alex.
Why not?
Because I don't want to. Because I know what I'm about. You know what?
Fine.
Let's
Put a
go
team
with
in
the
Maryland.
Let's go with the old skipjacks. Yeah, Alex, good point. Baltimore. There it is. Vancouver. That's our 32 teams. If you've been keeping track at home.
2 minutes to spare.
2 minutes to spare. Well, you know what's funny? We're like rushing to do this, but then I realized that there's no.
I'm surprised that you didn't fight me over Grand Rapids.
Because Grand Rapids, listen. If it's bigger than Memphis. Memphis has a pro sports team. It's almost as big as Milwaukee. They have 2.
Grand Rapids is the biggest city
To not have a major sports.
to not
franchise.
have a major sports team.
And I'm sorry, folks.
while-
The Rampage did not count. I am
hold
sorry.
on, hold on. They did count because they were,
They were
they
not a major
They were in the highest league in their sport,
in indoor football.
professional indoor football. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Listen, if Grand Rapids have an
Grand
MLS,
Rapids.
it'd be different.
Hold on. Grand Rapids is the biggest city in the United States that does not have a sports team, with the fact being that they are considered a huge sports town.
Yes.
Minor league hockey team, minor league basketball team, minor league soccer team. They used to have a minor league lacrosse team.
Baseball, the Whitecaps.
They do have a minor league baseball team, which is, and by the way, all of the minor league sports teams have affiliations to professional leagues and professional teams.
Well, the Drive are
The Detroit Red Wings, the Detroit Tigers, the Drive, I believe, are doing the Nuggets. They're changing to the
now with
Nuggets.
the Pistons.
No, the Pistons they're deciding.
Long
to go
story.
somewhere
Well, that
else.
team is not that profitable. But anyways, yes, the Grand Rapids I consider Grand Rapids a heavy sports town. I gave it to the Bay. San Jose, San Francisco. The Bay Area was my other pick in the West.
See, but here's the thing about Grand Rapids, though. You want to know what you're gonna do? You're gonna have to destroy Ionia Street.
No, because we have time. We can run a little bit over here since there's no rando tonight. The reason why, if you ever come to Grand Rapids, the Van Andel Arena where the Zamboni doors is all black, and there's a parking lot behind it. There's a service parking lot, and then there's an actual parking lot. The reason why that was built, Alex, you know the story.
I do know the story, but they don't know.
They built it so if it ever came time to that, they went major pro in either basketball, because basketball came around with hockey in '96.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, hockey, whatever, they could blow that wall out, extend the seat, because right now it's only a 3/4 upper bowl, lower bowl all the way around, a little bit shorter near the Zamboni door, which is where I'm talking about. They'd blow out that wall, they'd lose that back service lot, if you will, and they'd extend the seating to go all the way around, both lower bowl and upper bowl,
Yes.
and they would use the parking lot behind that, which is right on, is that Cherry? That's not Cherry. That's
It is Cherry Street.
No, yes, that's Cherry. The next one's Granville. They would use that lot as the service lot. They may add some more parking there, but whatever. Grand
do that
Rapids, they
anymore.
literally set it up to where they could be a major pro sports town. There's been talk about it off and on for years. I just don't think it'll ever happen.
Not in this lifetime, no. But that's why we do this.
Fantasy
we,
picks.
We make our list.
Fantasy picks. It's a wonderful thing.
I'll just throw that right there for everybody.
Yeah, so everyone can see it. If they can even read it. I can't even read it, and I'm right next to you. Anyways. Look, hey, guys, hey, hold on, wait, there's merch. Hey, look at that merch. Merch.
Teespring.com/stores/The Keel Show. Dash is where the spaces are. MyBookie.ag, Second String Leather Company, for Tyler, for hashtag Killyhand, for Wixie the dog. I'm your host, Alex Keel. We will see you next week, Monday.
Or Thursday. I'll be there Thursday.
I'll be on Monday.
Bye,
That's the show that really matters.
That's not the one. Everyone loves that.
Hey, they love me more. I'm the show. This is my show. Goodbye, everybody.